Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexi Odds here. It's Sunday morning. The Raptors have won 5 out of their last 6 games. That's right. 2025 has turned out to be very good to the Raptors so far, both at the regular level and the G League level. And well, the winning continues. They performed last night, not so great at the beginning, but they made up for it as the game went along and ended up blowing them out by the end of the game. And that's not easy to do. To beat the same team on their home court 2 games in a row is not easy to do. Considering when we showed up in Atlanta a couple days ago, we had one road win the whole entire season, that we just beat them twice on the road and collected our third home win last night. I mean, away win, I should be saying away, is absolutely awesome. And it's a culmination of us being healthy and gelling in the right way right now to be conducive to winning. Yeah, the Hawks are a tough team. They're having a lot of problems. And obviously, if they're missing certain players like DeAndre Hunter, Jalen Johnson, and Risache, that they have some problems, obviously. So, yeah, good job, Raptors. We have all the regular stuff on the show today, the classic card, the stars of the game, the Instagram stories, and yeah, more on the Raptor Freak channel. Let's go. We've got a game this afternoon at 3 p.m. in Laval, Quebec. The second game between the Long Island Nets and the Raptors 905. Tip-off will be at 3 p.m. today. And your referees for this game today are crew chief Chelsea Painter, number 68. Claire Aubry is the referee, number 14. And Mari Malo of Montreal is the umpire, number 70. So, yeah, 3 p.m. tip for this game. And the Raptors 905 are going to be looking to even the series against the Nets in this Les Nets series in Laval. So, yeah, we want to see some good stuff. Jonathan Mobo, AJ Lawson, Ulrich Shomshe, and Jameson Battle. So, yeah, 3 p.m. tip, y'all. So be ready for that in this afternoon for some Raptors 905 action. Let's go. Let's go to the game. And last night, I'm so happy and proud to say my father, my brother, and my nephew that live in Atlanta went to the game last night and watched the game in full Raptors gear, cheering on the Toronto Raptors in a rout of the Atlanta Hawks in their own building. My little nephew wore his Scotty Barnes jersey that looks just like my jersey I'm wearing right now, a red with a black chevron. And he wore a big, huge, fat Raptors hat. You know those big baseball hats they've been giving out to kids or making lately in sports where they're ridiculously sized baseball hats? Well, my nephew was wearing a Raptors oversized baseball hat, and the people behind him in the crowd, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was a Christmas gift I gave him one year. And well, he put it to use last night as a Raptors fan come the game. Maybe one of the special moments of 3 generations of men in my family, my father, my brother, and his son went to the game and had a special time of a special memory. And even though their uncle wasn't there, the uncle wasn't there. The spirit of the uncle was there through his team that he loves and talks about every single morning at 9:30 a.m. Yeah, it was awesome. On his way out, after the game, Scotty high-fived my nephew on the hand because he was right near the exit where the players came in and out. So, yeah, it was just a perfect night for my nephew who got to go to the game, see the Raptors blow out the Hawks, and got a big high five from Scotty Barnes on his way out after another excellent, supremely excellent night by Scott, showing total team excellence and leadership. My brother texted me during the game and said, Scotty never sits down, even when he's out of the game. He's constantly standing on the sideline coaching and talking to his teammates, never hardly sits down, even when he's not playing. So he was very impressed with that. Yeah, Scotty is going to a new level of leadership. And the leadership that I saw in him last night is reminiscent of a great player that played in San Antonio and collected 5 championships over his career named Tim Duncan. There's something about Tim Duncan as a leader on the defensive end that is just the center of everything, and this spurs on the other Spurs to have certain sort of energy of getting after it and defensive intensity. And Scotty's setting that tone for our team right now, along with players like Davion Mitchell. But I'm serious. The way Scotty is playing defense is so engaged, so aggressive, and to the top level of his physical capabilities. And when he's doing that all out like that with his physical capabilities, it's a very high level. It's a very, very, very high level of play. So I love it. I love it. It's not even the offensive stuff I'm impressed with right now. It's the defensive stuff. It's that block he got in the middle of the game last night that was so emphatically no, 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 and really a game changer in the game because man, it makes you think twice when Scotty Barnes is around there lurking that he might block your shot. So yeah, this defensive leadership by Scotty is what I want to highlight in some ways, because in some ways he is the one who's bringing up the level of defensive intensity for our team as a leader, and they are all following his lead. And that is a badass thing. That you cannot say that the Raptors are a bad defensive team right now. They are a very good defensive team right now. And I give a lot of credit to Scott's leadership. So it is amazing. It's so awesome. Trevor J is in the chat. First in, the commissioner of fun, Trevor J. Remember how blessed you are to be alive, breathing, walking, talking, having your vision clear, clean water, food to eat, being able to sleep and wake up. You are blessed. Yeah, there's a checklist that they give people. Do you have a roof over your heads? Do you have clothing to keep you warm? Do you have food to eat for the day? If you have some of these basic necessities, you're better off than a certain percentage of some people in the world. So always count your blessings. Every single day you are blessed enough to wake up and see another day. You're blessed enough to still be able to see, blessed enough to still be able to breathe. So yeah, always count your blessings and understand that, things are not permanent, and sadly things can be taken away or things can change, and you wish you had those blessings the next day. So yeah, always count your blessings for sure. Trevor, I appreciate that. Of course, today is the coaches open house. This is a yearly event where the Raptors coaching staff puts on a seminar for young aspiring coaches down at the Scotiabank Arena. We've gone last year, a bunch of us went together. And I went the year before that with Nick Nurse and saw one of his coaches' open houses before he left. And yeah, it's a great event. I highly recommend it. If you are on your way down there or already down there, that's fantastic. I know Superfan Mo is there today, and I believe Blackhawk will be there also as far as Raptor Freak family. And hopefully they'll be able to tell us what they see today. Of course, Darko said it after the game in the post-game press conference. No day off tomorrow. We're practicing tomorrow with a nod to the coaches open house. This is just a fantastic event. If you've never been, it's basically they do a seminar for coaches to learn how to coach better from the Raptors coaching staff. Each one of the Raptors assistant coaches will take a little section and come out and do a talk to the big, huge crowd in the 100 level and kind of give a seminar on some aspect of coaching. And you'll hear from Pat Delaney, Vin Bagnani, Eric Curry, Mike Batiste, Coco. All the coaches will say something. And then the big enchilada, they'll have a practice with the entire Raptors team at Scotiabank Arena today, which these coaches that are in attendance get privy access to watch. You literally get to see the drills and the ways that Darko sets up his practices. And you see the players play through a real full practice right in front of you. It's such an amazing event. And I'm kind of feeling FOMO from not being down there right now to be there for myself. But we know Mo will represent us well. And hopefully the event is just awesome. I mean, the guys got to be feeling good after winning 5 out of the last 6 and coming back from Atlanta with both games as wins. Yeah, they got to be feeling real good. In fact, things are looking pretty good for us coming up soon. Tomorrow we'll play the New Orleans Pelicans in the Scotiabank Arena in a home game. And then we got to travel and we'll play Washington in Washington. So this win streak could get extended. And Stank Nation, y'all need to shut up, man. Like, here, let me read this real quick. This is on Blue Skies this morning. Blake Murphy tweeting a little bit earlier on saying, I think seeing someone earnestly upset that the Raptors hurt the tank by signing too good of a player to a 10-day contract might be the end of me. Yeah, I'm with you on this, Blake. It's stupid. It's so stupid. Like, it makes me weird things to be about it, as far as like, I don't understand tank mentality at all. I really don't. If you've played competitive sports in your life at all, you're trying to win. Sometimes your team just sucks and it doesn't win. And sure, you can make an excuse. Oh, we're tanking. But there's no draft in youth levels. So no, you're bad. And just accept that, okay? And I think that's the problem with people that love tank mythology and tank ideas is that they don't want to be losers. And the only way they can see themselves being not losers in a losing season is by making up this whole mythology and idea of romanticizing tanking. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. It got really weird outside just now because it's snowing and the light just changed real weird. It's really weird out there. Yeah, it's dumb. Anyway, I think that Stank Nation needs to just quiet down and let the grown-ups root for the team. And if y'all have a problem with winning, well, go ahead and not watch. All the people that had a problem with losing and stop watching, well, you can watch again because we're going to start winning again. And all the people that have problem with us winning, well, you go ahead and turn it off if you're going to get all upset about the Raptors winning again. That's what I'm going to say about that. Stagnation, y'all can be in turmoil and be all stupid with your stupid shit. That's what I'm going to say right now. Let's see. Trevor saying the Raptors had that hot water put all over Ice Trey. Yeah, in particular, Davion Mitchell, of course, gets that assignment with Trae Young, and he revels in taking on really top-tier NBA talent that is so hard to guard. And, well, he just wants to do it. They did a fantastic thing last night containing Trae, not just with his shooting, but there was an amazing thing that happened last night that was pointed out by Matt Devlin and Alvin Williams for most of the broadcast, that Trae Young had no assists for most of the game last night. It's crazy. I mean, the Atlanta Hawks broadcast was bragging about how he ranks number one in the whole entire NBA in assists right now, and that he's just getting assists so effortlessly. Well, what the fuck happened last night? He couldn't get any assists. Davion Mitchell is what happened, and then a little bit of Jamal Shed also. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Trae had a streak that was broken last night that everybody's talking about where he had at least 5 assists in every single game he's ever played until last night. He ended up with only 4 at the end of the game. He had 4 assists by the end of the game. He didn't get his first assist until like the fourth quarter. So good job, Raptors, defensively, not just shutting down Trae Young offensively himself, but cutting him off from being able to connect with his teammates to get them better too. That was really masterfully done. They really, really put Trae on an island. And he had no message in a bottle he could send out, Sting. No, he couldn't. He's sending out an SOS and nobody getting it because the Raptors cut the line. That's right. Nobody got that SOS from him. Sending out an SOS. No, they ain't getting it because Davion Mitchell took the bottle and broke it on the rock. All right, let's see. Trevor's saying that Indiana beat the Spurs by 38 points. Things have a way of evening out. You know, the first game in Paris, they wanted to make sure Victor looked good, and Victor came out there and they routed the Pacers. And then the game yesterday, well, the Pacers looked good and Pascal looked good, and the Pacers won the second game. Yeah, that's just how it is. It's hard to win 2 games in a row in the same setting. And that's why I'm very impressed with the Toronto Raptors' accomplishment against the Hawks last night. You know, Quinn Snyder is not a bad coach. He's a very good adjustments coach, and he did adjustments between the first win and the game last night, but it didn't matter. The Raptors did better with adjustments and come into play and kicking some butt. And honestly, you know what I told myself before the game last night is if we beat the Hawks tonight again in their home court, like we did on Thursday, that's a big testament to the greatness of Darko's coaching. Is seriously, because in some ways the game last night is an adjustment game. Is okay, they saw us, we seen what they happened. Some of their players came back from injury, Larry Nance, Clint Capella, and some of their players were gone all of a sudden, like Jalen Johnson. But similar for us, we had Kelly Olynyk out all of a sudden, and we had to depend on a 10-day contract center to come in and put some big minutes off the bench, and he did fantastic. Orlando Robinson, you are awesome, man. In some ways, you were a breath of fresh air with your defensive capabilities in the game last night. Was really, really awesome. So, yeah, I give a lot of credit to Darko for accomplishing this win and coaching the team to 2 victories over Atlanta in Atlanta. That is not easy to do. It's Trae Young, who's not a slouch in the NBA, and Quinn Snyder is not a bad NBA coach. So good job, Darko. Kudos to you. Tip of the hat to you, sir, and guiding your team to this win. And you guys got Darko dinner last night because you won 3 in a row now. Darko dinner, baby. Get the steaks out. No pizza party, Raptors fans. This is classy fine dining. is what it is. That's right. Yeah. Trevor's saying that Orlando Robinson presence in the paint was a problem for the Hawks. We need to give him another 10 days. I agree. I like this guy. Let's put a pin in him, Bobby Masai. He seems like a big, tough guy. He seems he's a little mean. He's got like a natural mean face, mean mugging. And well, he's a big guy. And the thing I like about him is he adjusts and moves laterally really well. Like, this is the thing. We've had big guys come in on 10-day contracts like Malik Williams last year. And other big guys, they always seem so lumbersome. So kind of like Frankenstein, just kind of like, not really like moving very quick, not really agile. Well, the thing about Robinson last night is that he was really, really smart about timing with his defensive energy, and he was stifling them. There was a period of time where we were down. We lost the first quarter. We came out flat. We got our butts kicked right away. It was like 33-11 right away at the beginning of the game, and it looked ugly. Then the bench came in and saved us once again. And people like Jamal Shed, Bruce Brown, and Chris Boucher, along with Orlando Robinson, who came out and he was like the wall of Robinson all of a sudden. There was a period of time near the end of the first quarter into the second quarter where Robinson did not let the Hawks score anything near our basket. He personally went at each person coming towards the basket and stopped them. They did not make any baskets for a certain period of time solely because Orlando Robinson was the last line of defense. And did he do it in the right way? Some of it was maybe somewhat of a foul, and some referees, the way that they call it, maybe touch fouls would have been called. But no, that we've getting the trend of referees letting them play with physicality. Well, Orlando Robinson can be a physical presence and stopping them from scoring. He did. He was amazing. Some of those shots that he stopped were guaranteed baskets, but for somehow, some way, he got a hand up or put himself in between the player and the basket, and the ball didn't go in, which was fantastic. Holy crap. He had a really, really good savvy instinct to stop Atlanta from scoring. If there was one thing he told himself last night, he said, I'm not going to let them score while I'm out on the court. I could tell that's what he said because he did that. He did that. Orlando's like, I'm not letting them score while I'm out here from the inside because I'm going to be that guy down there. So it was really nice because for once, the Raptors had a starting center, Jakob Poeltl, and the backup center, Orlando Robinson, that could both protect the paint. So that was pretty cool. On some ways, that down low is a big key to why we won last night, is because we had a bench center that didn't, and no drop off of a paint protector with the substitution. Now, Kelly Olynyk, he's a paint protector, but not in the way that Jakob and Orlando could do it, partly because of the size and the length and the being able to get up there and block. So, man, Orlando Robinson, I want a second 10-day for you, and maybe you should be a center in our rotation permanently going forward at a good price. I don't know. Do you like playing with Scotty Barnes? I know Scotty at some points was frustrated with you and frustrated with Bruce Brown too. Scotty showed a very, very explicit displays of frustration on the court at times, pointing and waving and doing all that kind of stuff at times. Scotty fans, don't get mad at his teammates because he's frustrated with them. Got to understand, Orlando Robinson's a 10-day who just showed up. He's learning everything, and he doesn't have it all right. And Scotty, he did this on Twitch too. When he'd have teammates on his 2K team, he'd get pretty frustrated with them and yell at them for not being in the right place and doing the right stuff either. In some ways, that's what makes him a good leader, attention to detail, and he cares. That's fantastic. But also at times, it can make it look like he's really mad at his teammates. Don't get it twisted. In some ways, he's holding them accountable, but he's not. He's got to understand that, like, look, this guy just showed up and he's still learning our playbook. Yeah, Bruce should know his shit. You're right. Bruce should know his shit. But really, the thing you got mad at Bruce for, Scotty, was that he did not initiate a cut that he didn't take, and you wish he had because you wanted to get another assist. So, I like that Scott cares enough that he's getting pissed off at his teammates because they're not doing certain things that he wants them to do, but also chill out on that, Scott. And in some ways, the problem is his fans will see it and they'll be like, oh, man, I hate this guy because he makes Scotty mad on the court. And we don't want that, Scott. You got to understand. These people love you so much. If you show any kind of anger or disgust with your teammates, all of a sudden you got a faction of your fans that are turning on that player. And this has happened steadily since you've been in the league. So that's the one thing I say about that. But I love the passion that he cares enough that he is getting upset, that he's saying that. Yeah. Trevor's saying that Scotty got back to back chain. Yeah. Yeah, that's something. I mean, in some ways, this is a special trip that we just completed in Atlanta. Not just special because my nephew was there and he got a high five from Scott on the way out. It's special because Scott matured to a new level at this trip. And this is a trip we should point to in the future as a turning point for Scotty's career, as far as leveling up to be that franchise superstar that takes the brunt of the responsibility of the franchise winning on his shoulders. And the fact that he did it in 2 games in the same settings in Atlanta means a lot. And the fact that he got the chain in 2 games, in 2 games, in 2 settings like this means a lot too. It says a lot about just how important he is to the Raptors. Back-to-back chains in a back-to-back in Atlanta. That's a big, big deal right there, man. Kareem saying Davion put in Trey in jail. And when Trey is up for parole, Shed throws him in solitary confinement. I love it. I love it, Kareem. I'm going to give you a dunk for that one. That's fun. So he puts him in jail and then Shed puts him in solitary. All right. I like that. I like that a lot. All right. Where's Kareem Thomas? Here we go. He's got his 6th dunk of the year. You're at 18 points for dunks now, Kareem. That's hilarious. Let's see. Kareem's also saying when your point guard is playing amazing defense, it trickles down to the other 4 players on the court. Hang on. It jumped ahead. Let me make sure I get it. Instead of relying on switches, everyone is forced to play man because Davion ain't switching. Yeah. I mean, that is one of the big untold upgrades in our defense from the old system under Nick to now is that we are playing more stay-at-home kind of defense and not a lot of crazy switching that gets confusing and guys get lost. And then all of a sudden there's a 3-pointer in the corner. No, I like the man one-on-one responsibility better because it's easier to keep people accountable. And in some ways, it's also easier to keep organized because, you understand better. And the Raptors really are doing a good job when they sub in and out of this, figuring out who's got who and staying in communication about that. So, yeah, I've been really, really happy about the defense recently. And it's not the kind of defense that we played under Nick Nurse that was so successful. This is a very different kind of defense. And it is very much man defense, which is great. I mean, Nick was switching a zone with man defense all over the place and then doing other weird shit like boxing one. Darko's a pretty straight set up defensive kind of coach as far as like we're playing a lot of man and that's it. Like there is some zone we do sometimes. Let's see. Trevor's saying people going to be mad now because we're winning. Yeah, I'm not in that. I'm not with that. Not with that. That Stank Nation. If you're all about tanking, you're stank. And that's why I'm going to make fun of y'all. I'm going to call y'all Stank Nation for the rest of the year. The people that whine and cry about the Raptors winning because they want Cooper Flag. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. Blake Murphy has written me back on Blue Skies, and he said, don't think there needs to be a weird tribalistic about it like that. They need good draft position to get talent in the door. There's still 82 games where W's don't really matter, but player development, system culture, figuring out who fits all hold some value. Can appreciate both. Now, I don't know about that, Blake. Nah, I'm a real one for this team. You may be media, Blake, and you're impartial, and you can act like you're kind of a Raptors fan on the down low, but you're not really because you're kind of supposed to be press. But no, man, I'm a bona fide fan. I'm gonna be one way. I don't have to play by press rules like you, Blake Murphy. I really don't. I can be a full-on homer for this team and straight up say, yeah, I hate tanking, and Tank Nation's stupid. You can call that tribalistic, but let's just be real here. The Raptors Nation has different types of fans, and that's just the damn truth. And you can call it tribalistic, but it's not tribalistic. It's just people being like for their team. And people that aren't for the team, well, they don't want to be for the team. Well, I ain't got no time for them, is what I'm going to say as far as Tank Nation, Stank Nation. It's so stupid. Trevor's saying Vince Carter's retirement banner in Brooklyn got nothing. The Raptors retirement banner. Yeah, they did the ceremony last night for Vince. And speaking of that, happy birthday to Ronald Dupree, former Raptor. Ronald Dupree, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday to Ronald. Ronald is, how old is he today? He is 44. So happy 44th birthday to Ronald Dupree, who played 3 games for the Raptors and scored 2 points in his whole entire Raptors career. Great Raptor. birthday today, Ronald Dupree. Yeah, I'm gonna say that. Happy birthday, Ronald. But yeah, they did the retirement jersey ceremony for Vince last night. He recycled some of the same lines from his retirement speech with Toronto for the Brooklyn retirement last night. They tried to do all kinds of special stuff like we did, but it's true. Trevor's right. The banner for the Nets is just not anything like the Raptors banner. The Raptors banner has a picture of his face on it, and it's a way more like classy thing. In some ways, the Nets already had banners up there, so it has to match the banners that are up there. They're very plain with just the name and the number. Yeah, it is what it is. New Jersey wanted their chance to honor Vince, and well, they got it. In some ways, it's like, they're going to try and focus on this. The Raptors are going to get another chance to honor him again. In some ways, it's annoying. I mean, I didn't realize this, but apparently Vince Carter is the full-time color guy for the Nets now. And he's only coming and doing our games every once in a while. But he's decided he's like the regular Alvin Williams for the Nets right now, which is in some ways it's like, yeah, you're a turncoat. You're going to go call Nets games more than you can call Raptors games. You're a turncoat. And it is what it is. And in some ways, I know it's your birthday today, but I don't give a shit, man. In some ways, you got your jersey retirement. You're going to get your anniversary of your dunk contest next month, too. You could get all this, and in some ways, you're okay with us. But in some ways, I still don't like you, Vince. How about that? I still don't like you because I know that deep down in your heart, in some ways, you don't like us still. You really don't. And it is what it is. We had to honor you because of your effect on Canada and basketball. And in some ways, that's why we honor you. It's not because we honor you because you're a great Raptor. We honor you because you had a great effect on the sport of basketball in the country Canada. And don't get that twisted. We still remember the good and the bad about you. And you go ahead and the Nets ceremony paled in comparison to the one we did. It is what it is. Let's see. Jimmy Pope saying winning, big dubs, baby. That's right. Pope positivity. Winning. That's right. That's right. Kareem Thomas is saying whenever Raptors get wins here and there, some uninformed casual part of the fan base is flaming the team for winning because they think the odds are getting lower with each win. Yeah, I hate this. It's so dumb. Like, look, y'all, whoever's miserable anywhere in Raptors Nation, just stop. Seriously, it's just sports. It's entertainment. It's not your life. It's not you, and you have to, oh my gosh, I live and die with the Raptors. I used to, but it's not healthy. And in some ways, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. You need to keep yourself separated emotionally and be able to control your life without being all ravaged by the Raptors winning and losing. And some of y'all that are over emotional about them winning when you think they're supposed to be losing, you're losers. You guys are losers. I'm sick of it. Y'all get over yourselves. Maybe just stop watching sports. If you don't understand, sports are competitive. You're supposed to try and win. Even when you don't win a lot in a season, doesn't mean you're supposed to just tank and lose every single game. I don't understand this. It's like not teaching young people the correct way to sport. In some ways, they don't understand what matters in sports. They really have weird, convoluted ideas of what matters right now. And I'm scared for it. They don't get taught fundamentals, and they don't understand in sports you're supposed to try and win. Well, what the hell kind of future do we have if these young people are so stupid that they can't understand sports in the right way? Because it is a real problem. Seriously, I can joke about it, and it may sound stupid and silly the way I'm saying this, but this is a real damn problem that young people are not getting the right kind of philosophies and ideas about good sportsmanship, what sports is for, what it's supposed to be about. They're getting all the wrong reasons for what it's about. Whether it's just dunking in threes, making money, or, trying to look good, not being a team player. There's all kinds of bad habits we can teach younger generations about basketball. And it seems like that's what's happening because some of these kids don't know how to dribble and play basketball correctly, is what it seems like. And they think tank culture is a real thing. It's just messed up. It's just messed up. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy Sunday. We put on a clinic yesterday. Never underestimate the impact of defense. Yeah, there you go. I love it, MJ. Yeah, in some ways, the defense was definitely the tone that we set because in some ways, our offense wasn't that smooth at times last night, but it got going. In the last three quarters of the game last night, second, third, and fourth quarters, we scored over 30 points. And Darko was very proud of that in the postgame. That, us being able to score 30 points consistently in quarters against the Hawks on this trip has been a really, really good thing. Really, really good thing. Always good to see MJ in the chat. She's saying so many stars of the game. Amazing team contribution. Even Bruce Brown at times was good. Scotty and RJ, one of 4 NBA duos with combined 200 points and 200 assists. Yeah, it's fantastic. Those guys are in a list with Russell Westbrook and Nikola. Yeah, that really is something special. That's something on the download that we've had all season that nobody wants to recognize is the play of Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett together has been phenomenal. And they put that on blast with that graphic last night, which was fantastic. All right, we'll do the stars of the game real quick since Fiercey brought them up. I want to say first, of course, my number one star of the game for 3 games in a row now is Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes, number one star of the game. 32 minutes for Scotty, 8 of 17 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, 7 of 7 at the free throw line. Once again, Scotty at the free throw line is leadership right there. It's leadership because he's helping our team shoot better at the free throw line. 88% overall as a team. Scotty's shooting 7 for 7. 3 offensive rebounds with 12 rebounds altogether, 7 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 4 turnovers, a plus 26 with 24 points in 32 minutes. Scotty's not the kind of player that's going to do it himself. He's going to get everybody involved and help the group project. He may score some of the baskets himself, but in some ways, it's him looking to set up everybody else that makes him so deadly. He's not the normal franchise player. And in some ways, the build that he is a more better franchise player because he'll get more out of the whole entire team because he's like that. He could be Trae Young, but Trae Young in certain ways has to go a certain way to get his other teammates better. Scotty has to go a very direct way to make his teammates better. And that's the thing I like about things with Scotty right now. He's been so awesome. As a team player, he's making everybody better. The second star of the game is RJ Barrett. RJ bounced back with a much more efficient game, and he got over 20 points last night. He's been fighting through a little bit of a slump lately, and I think he's come out on the other side. Last night, his threes looked fantastic. 30 minutes for RJ, 9 of 13 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3, 2 of 4 from free throw line, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, a plus 11, 23 points. All right, there you go. That's pretty good, RJ. I'm really, really happy that you came back and were very efficient. And you know what? You look good playing with Scott. And I know that both you guys really enjoy playing with each other. Seriously, you guys are doing such a good job. Off the bench, the third 20-point scorer was Chris Boucher, third star of the game. 7 of 10 from the field in 21 minutes, 3 of 4 from 3. His threes just look so good. He was very perfect at the free throw line also. 6 for 6. 5 rebounds, 1 block, plus 21 for Chris with 23 points off the bench. It was a triple B effort. Barnes, Barrett, and Boucher, the triple Bs, going off last night for the Raptors and carrying them to victory. Only 3 guys that got double-digit scores, too, and all 3 in 20-point scores. So, yeah, fantastic stuff from Chris, RJ, and Scotty as the top 3 scorers for the Raptors in the game last night. My fourth star of the game is Jakob. Jakob's always solid. Jakob in there doing good fights and doing good things. 9 points for Jakob on 4 of 6 shooting in 27 minutes. Made his only free throw. 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, a block, a plus 15 in 27 minutes. Yeah, 9 points. Only 9 points for Jakob, but 9 rebounds. That's a solid game for him. And just getting out there, being a presence. Once again, he's the emergency valve on offense. If we're in trouble and the shot clock's running out, dump the ball to Yak. He'll be able to get a shot off and hopefully make it. So, yeah, Jakob Poeltl, my 4th star. And my 5th star of the game for last night is Jacoby Walter. 16 minutes for Jacoby, 3 of 6 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3. He missed his only free throw. 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 7 points, a plus 5. Jacoby, at a certain point in the second half, the Raptors were stagnating slightly and having a really hard time scoring all of a sudden. And Jacoby's fundamentals and just nice play stepped up and scored some points for us when we were having a hard time scoring. So I wanted to give him some shine in that. And plus, Jacoby had a lot of family in the crowd. There apparently like 30 people from his family in the crowd watching the game last night. Very happy to see him play very well in the game last night. Honorable mention to Orlando Robinson, of course. 21 minutes for Orlando, 2 of 7 from the field, missed his only 3. He took a 3-pointer at one point. That was crazy. 6 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 3 turnovers, plus 8 with 4 points. Orlando Robinson, really the big contribution from him was that crazy defense I was talking about earlier. That was just so good for a period of time in there. absolutely helped turn the game around for the Raptors to be in the lead in the second quarter. So Orlando Robinson, fantastic stuff. Also honorable mention to Davion Mitchell with his fantastic defense on Trae Young. Also 3 of 8 from the field for Davion, 1 of 4 from 3, 1 of 1 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover, +2 with 8 points in 26 minutes. Davion's just a real pro. And he's the kind of guy that doesn't need to score to be a real winning factor for your team. And he's proven that by playing really good defense. And once again, organizing the team on offense in a really nice way where it makes sense. There were times last night where we were chaotic and guys were not moving in the motion of the offense very well. Some of that was because Robinson was in the game. He's so new. He didn't know exactly where to run. Some of it was confusing at times. And you saw Grady and Bruce Brown and people in the middle kind of not running the right way, and it looked really disorganized and it fell apart, and then we would turn the ball over. There were times like that in the game last night. But overall, the Raptors played a very high level of defense and played well enough to blow out the Hawks, even if at times things looked totally disorganized and they did not know what the fuck they were doing at times. Seriously. It looked like that at times out there. You saw it just like I did. You saw it. Grady Dick, not the best game. 14 minutes. He was in and out of the lineup. He played a lot at the beginning and then kind of got the hook for different reasons. Some of it's defensive. Some of it's him not doing things correctly. And Darko kind of like being like, yeah, you know what? I need to sit you for a little bit. We're going to have a learning lesson. Grady, 2 of 4 from 3. I like to see him making 50% of his threes. 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 5 fouls. That's the other thing. Grady got in foul trouble like right away from the beginning of the game, and that was keeping him off the court to a degree. 6 points for Grady in 14 minutes. Garrett Temple came in for 3 minutes at the end of the game with the garbage team. Bruce Brown, 27 minutes, 3 of 9 from the field, missed all 3 of his threes, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 5 turnovers. But Bruce was the highest plus minus on the team last night, plus 27 with 8 points. It's weird, man, because at times it did feel like Bruce Brown was sabotaging us, whether it was not cutting when Scotty got mad at him, whether it was him just turning over the ball mysteriously, just all of a sudden, like, why the hell did you just lose the ball like that? It's like, what are you doing? And also at times, Bruce didn't look ready to take shots. Like he'd get the ball and he'd be all confused. And then like he'd turn the ball over too. So yeah, I don't know. Bruce Brown, not a very good game last night, honestly, in my opinion, even if he had the highest plus minus. He looked chaotic. He looked like he was disorganized. And he didn't look like he was fitting right with the other players in certain ways. Jamal Sheck, 22 minutes, 1 of 7 from the field. He had a bad game too on the down low. Things weren't going right for him. He was getting some weird fouls early on. And things weren't exactly smooth for Jamal last night. 0 for 3 from 3. Made all 3 of his free throws, though. 6 assists with 3 turnovers. 5 points for Jamal Sheck. He was a plus 21, though. So we did win when he was out on the court. So, yeah, it's a good team effort all around. It's interesting that it was so concentrated with the 3 Bs, with those 3 guys getting the 20 points. But, hey, we'll take it. We'll take it. It's another win. The Raptors have 13 wins now. Their 3rd road victory. They've won the season series against the Hawks franchise 2-1, and we won't play them again for the rest of the year. Yeah, there's a lot of good things to celebrate about what's going on right now. Won 5 out of their last 6. And that's fantastic. I love that so much. Kareem's saying this team will win a lot moving forward just on the simple fact that they got used to playing defense at a high level on a consistent basis. We have scores to match the opposition. Yeah, it's just we're getting our shit together now in middle in the season with health and also gelling. And honestly, we have good vibes. The guys are confident. They trust in each other. And they're working very well off each other. In some ways, that is the thing that an NBA team needs to be ultra successful. And some of these teams in the middle of the season now are hitting the doldrums of the middle of the season with exhaustion and kind of just going through it because it's a long season. Well, we've gone through it already for the first half of the season, and now we're getting the good stuff. So we're getting to revel in the good stuff where they got to revel in some good stuff already. I mean, the Hawks have a win over Boston this season. The Hawks have had some very big key moments, and they're in a low part right now. Well, we were in a low part before. Let's enjoy our high part right now and go with it. And Stank Nation needs to keep it quiet. is what I'm saying right now. That's right. Keep it quiet, man. Smooth's here. Good to see Reggie. Winning while rebuilding is a good thing. It means they're on the right track and that this could be accelerated. Yeah. Yeah. I knew that they break through at some point. A lot of these games that we lost in the first half of the season were so close. And it was just a little bit of know-how, a little bit of health, a little bit of making less mistakes. And the outcome's totally different. And well, we're seeing more adding up to winning right now. Some of it is the opponents are easier. Some of it is that we're way healthier. So it's all a good thing, and I love it. I love it. That's what we want to see. In some ways, we were concerned about some of the losses early in the season because it seemed like we could have won them, but we didn't. And we're wondering, is this team good enough talent-wise to compete with most of the NBA? Well, it is. It is good enough talent-wise to compete with the rest of the NBA. A lot of naysayers and people that don't like the Raptors were out there trying to say this shit, that the Raptors are not good enough talent-wise to compete with the NBA with this current roster. That's bullshit. And we're seeing it right now. We're seeing it right now. Smooth saying it keeps the players mentally involved and believing in the coach. Yes. Yes. We need to see some traction and some positive gains because that will mean the players are buying in more and more into Rajakovic's playbook and his philosophies and his vision for this team. That's important. I'm reading on ESPN this morning that there is no relationship between Yusuf Nurkic and Mike Budenholzer. That can't be good. That can't be healthy for a team that they have not talked to each other in 2 months. That's supposedly supposed to be your starting center and your coach. So it's like, yeah, that's not a good thing to be festering on the team with the Phoenix Suns. No, they didn't go and play Nurkic just because him and the coach don't like each other. Yeah, that's not healthy. That is not healthy at all. No, it's not. Fiercely saying great words of wisdom, Trevor J. And yes, Stank Nation in shambles. Yeah, they're going to be whatever they're going to be. In some ways, I get what Blake's saying something about tribalism. Listen, Blake, it's like that, though. You got to understand, modern fan nations are like this, Blake. You can try and say, it's wrong to be tribalistic and stuff like that, but that's bullshit, man. In some ways, that's a direct shot on my channel, Blake Murphy. You saying that. Because honestly, we need positive fans in this nation because we have negative fans. And that's just the damn truth. That's true, Blake. And listen, once again, Blake, you're not a true Raptors fan like I am. You're press. You go on a show called The Raptors Show. That doesn't mean you're for the Raptors. You work for Rogers and you work for a corporation. And in some ways, you're a sellout, bro. I'm not a sellout. I love my team passionately first. And if I want to talk about stagnation and say they're a bunch of idiots and you can call that tribalism, well, go ahead and call it what you want. That's what I see. There's a lot of Raptors fans that are misguided and uneducated. And people in the press like you should be educating them better, Blake Murphy, so that they can understand why tank philosophy is stupid. So maybe you should get on there instead of playing the fence and say, well, I can see why it's good to do tanking too. Don't do that. That's why we have this problem with tank losers. And you can call it tribalistic if you want. But listen, I'm just a positive Raptors fan trying to do the best for my team. And I know that those tank people are not good for our team. They're not good for our team. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah, they're not. And you have a job, Blake Murphy. You have a job to educate. And you need to do a better job, honestly, if you ask me. All right, let's see. All right, let's keep going. Kareem saying Pat Delaney took out Grady Ick in the second half because he ain't got no D. I don't know if that's that funny. Now, Grady is having problems with fouling. He got a foul almost immediately right away in the game. And in some ways, it's because he's throwing his body into people that are driving at him and he's meeting them to try and cut them off. And it looks like a foul. Mark Lindsay, foul on Grady right away. First play of the game. So it's a little bit of a foul problem right now with him. Because in some ways, it's like that. When you're a young player and you don't have enough strength to match up strength-wise with your opponents, you may foul a little bit more because you have to, just to try and impede them. And I think that's what Grady's going through right now in his career right now, is that he's getting a lot of fouls because he's trying to be a better defender. And in some ways, being more aggressive is how he's trying to do it. Tristan saying, off night breaking Trey's 202 game, 5 assist streak. Yeah, that's pretty much his whole career. Trey Young has gotten at least 5 assists. And, well, he didn't last night. And that's kind of interesting. I mean, he had Clint Capella back. It's weird. I guess Capella's still kind of hurt because they had him come off the bench. I get that totally. Kareem saying there's only one Robinson who's over 7 feet tall in the history of the NBA who's worth talking about, and that's Orlando. Lex going to hate me for this. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Come on now. There's a top 75 player of all time who played in San Antonio that's 7 foot and he played for Navy. And he is definitely worth talking about. I don't know what you're talking about with that, Cream. I'm going to take your dunk away for that. Seriously. You can get a dunk, but you're going to take a dunk away too, man. All right, you're back to 15, Cream, because that is nonsensical. And you don't, I don't take any David Robinson malignment. No, no maligning him. No, 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 no. Fiercely saying, yeah, don't want to be shady. Our banner, Nets banner, just saying my observation and preference. Yeah, I mean, it's very basic. I mean, they got to also think about they have banners that are up already, and it has to look like the Dr. J one, the Daryl Dawkins one, the Buck Williams one. I mean, that's part of it. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the Nets went after us, so there's a lot of similarities to what their ceremony looked like with what we did. There's definitely is, and even like I said, Vince used some of the same exact lines in his speech for last night as he did in the one in Toronto. So it's like, yeah, it is what it is. In some ways, it's like, Vince, I thought you were going to do way more games of our broadcast. I guess you don't want to or something like that. You've done like, what, 2 or 3 games so far this season? You need to do some more games. You need to be in our broadcast booth and doing Raptors games. So you're going to do all Nets games? That's fine. You're Nets alumni. All right, you go ahead and be there. That's fine. That's fine, I guess. Shir Khan's here. Good to see Shir Khan. The vibes are vibing. I like that. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. I don't know about you guys, but I think there's something special brewing up in here. Team had been together for a while, and chemistry is off the charts. Raps cook. Yeah, I believe this is true too. You know what it is, Shir Khan? You know when you see a good team is when you see not just a good superstar player like Scotty or RJ. You see like good bit players doing good role player kind of things too. Like you see Davion do his role. You see Orlando Robinson come in and be a good backup center. You see Grady Dick be that 3-point shooter specialist in some ways. When you see different role players stepping up and doing different roles, like Chris Boucher with his role, when Oshai comes back, he'll have a role that he's really good at. That is the sign of a good team. It's not just having a good superstar, but it's a team that works well together, and the role players on the team are doing their jobs so perfectly with each other. That's that good feeling of watching good basketball. And in some ways, I'm feeling that right now because enough of the Raptors are playing at a high enough level doing their roles that gives you that satisfaction. Yeah, isn't it awesome, Shir Khan? So good to see the Raptors tonight. MVP Shir Khan in the house. That's right. Nako Stan watching the game while watching the stream. Defense is pretty great. Okay, so you're watching the game right now? That's pretty cool. Yeah, I was so happy to hear. My dad told me yesterday morning that they were going, and having my family there watching the game in Atlanta last night was special. And that's so awesome. I can't believe Scotty high-fived Harry on the way out. So cool. This is a high five. And of course, my nephew's wearing a Raptors number 4 with Scotty's jersey on it. Just picture perfect. It's just awesome. They get the victory 2 games in a row in Atlanta. And my nephew gets the high five from Scott on the way out. I just love that. That's like priceless. That's like the American Express commercial right there. Priceless. That's right. Let's see. Fiercely saying Orlando Robinson was useful, few turnovers, but also effective on defense. Lex, happy your nephew saw Scotty. Yeah. He loves the Raptors. He knows them really well because when I was there in Atlanta for Christmas, we watched all the games together. Like the Fred VanVleet Houston game that was horrible. The Knicks game around Christmas that was horrible. The Memphis game, we watched that too. That was horrible. And he really likes Chris Boucher. He calls Chris Big Chris. And the vibes that Chris is having right now, Harry sees him. He's like, yeah, Big Chris, look at Big Chris making the 3. That's what he said. Stuff like that. It's like so seeing them in person last night and getting to see Big Chris hit some 3s and be an awesome player off the bench. I'm sure that my nephew really, really enjoyed watching Chris Boucher last night. He's one of his favorite players. He seriously is. He likes Chris a lot. So he likes Scotty, but he likes Chris. He's always talking about Big Chris. He calls him Big Chris. Big Chris. Nago saying Jacoby's scoring is nice. Yeah, there's a lot of future with Jacoby Walter, potential of being an all-round scorer and being a carry for us as far as like being like, things that RJ does. And this is why I love the mentorship that RJ is showing towards Jacoby. You saw Jacoby do a good move last night. RJ's right up in his face saying, that's right, Rook. That's what I want to see you do more. Because in some ways, Barrett can see a great scorer and Walter like himself. And in some ways, he wants to nurture him and get him more on the path to be more confident and be more consistent in scoring for the Raptors in the future. I love that mentorship, RJ Barrett for Jacoby Walter, because in some ways, RJ's that kind of scorer himself. And there's all kinds of things he could teach Walter. And as he becomes that kind of scorer himself in the NBA. And I'm all about it. I'm here for it because Walter is looking more and more like such a badass pick at 19 for last year. He's really, really looking like a value pick, just like Grady at 13. Very much looking at value. Kareem saying, I want to see I want to see Jakob in Orlando starting against Cleveland. I'm doing a science project. Yeah, so Kareem's feeling good. He's feeling funny this morning. Yeah, I don't know about that. That foot speed on that lineup is a little too slow like that. I mean, you got to understand Mobley and Allen have a lot of mobility. Pirtle and Robinson together at the same time. I don't know about that. No, I'm answering your question straight, even though I know it's kind of a joke. Stillman's here. Good to see Stillman back in the chat. Of course, we see Stillman in our Facebook chat all the time. But welcome back to the live, man. Good to see you. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Screw tanking. Let's go get a playing spot. People seem to forget how good Bobby and Masai are at drafting gems, no matter what position they are in the draft. That's right. That's right. That's what they need to realize. It doesn't matter where we draft. We're going to be badasses because this is the specialty of our front office in particular. Is drafting is so good. I mean, come on. Look at the 5 guys they brought to our team last year. They're all hitting. They're all hitting. Jameson, Ulrich, Jonathan, Jamal, and Jacoby. They're all hitting. So why would you doubt them? They're showing you they get hit anywhere in the draft. They hit Ulrich with 2 draft picks to go. They hit Shamjay with 2 draft picks to go. What are you worried about, Raptors fans? About winning or losing? Because we got Bobby and Masai. It don't matter where we draft. And I don't care about those top 3 guys. I don't need Ace Bailey. I don't need Cooper Flagg. I don't need Dylan Harper. I don't care where we pick in the top 10 because we're going to get a good player. We're going to get the best player available. And I ain't about losing more and more on purpose just to try and get some jabroni young kid. No. No, call me a tribalist, Blake Murphy, because I'm anti-tank. Jeez. All right, let's keep going. All right. Nako wants me to scout Ryan Kalkbrenner. All right, I'll go look at that. So Nako is always monopolizing the scouts of the day. Y'all are forgetting to do them, but Nako's jumping on them. So we'll go ahead and do this since Nako wants this. Let's see. Nako wants to see Ryan Kalkbrenner. He's American. Let's see if he's got a Wikipedia. That's usually a good sign that he's a player of note. If he has a Wikipedia. Okay, he's from Missouri. He's from Missouri. He's 23 years old. He's 7'1", and he's 270 pounds. He plays for the Creighton Blue Jays. Okay, Missouri. All right, let's see. He's been averaging in his college career about. Okay, he's had different ups and downs. He's a 4-year college player. That's interesting. That's not very often these days. All right, let's go look at him on the tube. The U of the tube. No. Ryan Kalkbrenner. Okay, Ryan goes off for 49 in one game. I don't want that. I want to kind of see like a whole. That's this highlights from last season. Maybe we could watch those. Let's just see what they look like. All right, we'll go to this one. All right, Ryan Kalkbrenner, 7'2". Let's see what he looks like. Okay, he's the very big guy. He runs funny. Okay, nice little layup and transition. He caught it and put it in. He's kind of goofy, man. He's got an interesting wingspan. That was a nice big dunk. They've all been dunks or layups so far on this, and they've all been in transition so far, the way he's been scoring here. All right, here's a post up. It's a nice little move and goes straight to the basket off the backboard. The defender was really bad, though. There he is. He pushed off a guy, but then he made the back put the ball back. That's interesting. I don't know. He looks like he's got good strength for a college player. His height, 7'1". He's kind of like a nice little turnaround there. He's kind of goofy, though. I don't know. Does he shoot the 3? Let's see the 3. It's not bad. His form he's got a really slow stroke for 3. Really slow stroke. He's not a quick release, that's for sure. If he's going to shoot the 3, that's going to be because they really left him open. I don't know about that three-pointer, man. He's so slow the way he shoots it. Okay, he's slow to get to there, but he got that guy because he wasn't that fast at attacking the basket. I don't like the foot speed on this guy, Nako, at all. He's kind of a slow reactor. Like, man, he can guard in the college, but I don't know how he'll do in the NBA speed because the guys are just as big as him and they're faster. And in some ways, he's slow. I can tell he's slow. Yeah, he's so slow to come to the weak side. Like, from the weak side. He's, like, on one side, and he's coming over to block. He can do it. The guys that he's going against are not as fast. In the NBA, they'll get past him, and they'll actually score. That's a weird block. That was a really weird block on that one. Yeah, I don't like this guy. I think that in some ways he's anchored to the ground. He doesn't have hops. He can't jump, first of all. He's really tall, and he's got long arms, but in some ways, he's really not an athletic guy. He's really not. Yeah, I'm a pass on this guy. I think that you guys have shown me way better active big men as far as like more athletic ability and ability to move around on the court faster laterally and just like kind of like recover. He's not a very good recoverer from what I can see as far as like foot speed. If he has to come from somewhere else, he's not going to get there in time. He's not going to get there in time. I don't know. I don't like him. I don't like him. I like Malak way better. And there's other big men prospects y'all brought me that I think are way, way better than this guy. Now, where is he being projected at, Nako? This guy looks like he's a second rounder, is what he looks like to me. But thank you, Nako, for the scout of the day. Ryan Kalkbrenner. I think he's too slow. We'll see. In the NBA, he might be found to be too slow. Kareem saying, as a competitor my whole life, I would never agree to tanking, but I watched Duke versus Wake Forest yesterday, and my goodness, Cooper Flag is phenomenal. That said, one player won't change a losing culture. Yeah. I mean, I once again, I think that one of this is a life philosophy thing that people need to realize. In your life, there's only now. The present. Some people get caught up in wanting something in the future that they'll never get to, and they'll never be happy because they're always looking forward to that one thing that's in the future. No, stay present and stay now. And staying now means enjoy this team as it is right now in the process of rebuilding and getting better and succeeding more and more as time goes on. It's not being in the now and saying, I'm so upset the Raptors are like this. I need somebody to come and save us. I need this. This person's going to save us. This person's going to save us. No, when you're in the now, you accept the situation of the now and you make the best of it. And I think this is the problem is we have a lot of Raptors fans that are not able to stay present and just understand the assignment in the present moment, that they really want to just fast forward and get to something else faster. And they think that the fastest way to do it is to tank, get a high draft pick, and get there faster. No, Philadelphia has proven to you that this is not the fastest way to get back to Larry O'Brien. And the way we're doing it right now, the way that the Raptors understand how to do it, Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster and Darko, is the right way, is rebuilding through patience and staying in the now and taking advantage of the now current situations. I think that's the biggest thing. I think that everybody wants to hurry up and go in the future where we're competing for the Larry O'Brien again. And it's not like that. And in some ways, you can go ask Sixers Nation. They'll tell you exactly how it's like. Yeah, that's what I'm saying right there. Yeah, Mike's here. Good to see Logical Raptors Fanatic returning to his channel to do some content. Y'all watch Logical Raptors Fanatic. Project Truth always, Mike. Scotty is a beast. That is truth. So Project Truth to that. I'll say that for sure. Wayne's here. Good to see Wayne Strainer. Morning, Raptor Freaks. The next 9 games offer us 6 possible wins. With half the season to come means a possible 35-win season, at least a play-in slot. All role players understand their jobs. Perfect. Yeah. And if that sounds like a horrible thing to you, you may need to check yourself and understand why Wayne thinks that's awesome. If we get in the play-in, I'm not going to be upset about that. That's not a failure. That is not a failure, Raptors fans. In fact, that's a huge success considering how bad this season has been so far. I think 35 wins is stretching it. It's very much stretching. Once again, I'll say if we can get 26, this season's a success to me. We get 26 wins this season, it's a success to me because it's one more win than we got last year. And that's in some ways the one thing I want to build off of right there. Seymour Sands told y'all we would win easy pickings. Yeah, you did. You did say that. I had a feeling too about it. The vibes are so good right now, Sheriff, that the Raptors are rolling. And I had a feeling that this would happen. I really did. I really did have a feeling also. Stargate saying, great phrases, Lex. Romanticizing tanking. You call them Stank Nation, and I call them teeny tankers. Teeny tankers? I like that, Stargate. I like that. Romanticizing tanking. Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't get it. You know, Cooper Flag is a player built for the Wizards. He's absolutely built for the Wizards. And well, let's hope that he gets to the Wizards because that's where he should play, honestly. If they really want to help the worst team in the league, they should put him on the Wizards and just let that happen. Now, I have no problem with that. It sounds such a great combination. Cooper Flag in Washington D.C. Why not? Why not? G saying SGA pick 11. Giannis and Kawhi pick 15. Hawks were a playing team and got the first pick. There are no guarantees. Bottoming out gets you any good pick. Elite players can be found anywhere. Yeah. Yeah. Where was Kobe Bryant picked? You know, I mean, seriously, I just seriously, Tank Nation's an insult to the greatness of our front office, is what I'm saying. It's an insult to the genius of Masai and what has made him such a successful and amazing NBA executive. It's an insult. It's like you don't trust Masai, is what you're telling me when you want the team to lose on purpose to tank. It's what you tell me. Seriously, that's what I read between the lines saying you don't trust Masai. You don't trust Masai. And that is one thing that is so important in this Raptors nation is if you're going to be a Raptors fan, you should trust Masai. I think most of us have learned that the lesson over the years. Jalen McDaniels, trust Masai. That's what I'm saying. Trust Masai. Kawhi Leonard for DeMar DeRozan. Trust Masai, Raptors fans. Stop promoting loser mentality and tanking. Yeah, and Blake Murphy, you playing both sides, saying, "Oh, I can see the mentality of tanking is good too." Bullshit. It's not, Blake. It's not. It's in particular teams. It may be. Now, maybe the Washington Wizards do need a tank because their front office sucks, and they absolutely have to get the highest draft pick because their front office doesn't have much margin for error because they're going to screw it up somehow, some way. But the Raptors, not with their front office, and I think that's something that Raptors fans need to understand. We don't need to be a tanking team because we have a badass front office. That's what I'll say right there. Yeah. Yeah. Kareem saying Toronto posts the second best record in 2025 behind the Grizzlies. What? We're 6-6. That's not that good. That's not that good. We're 6-6 in 2025 right now. Smooth saying Kareem Thomas, Cooper Flag will be a member of the Utah Jazz. It's already rigged for that to happen. That's fine too. I don't mind him going out there and being on Danny Ainge's team. I really don't care. And once again, I think that we over promote and over exaggerate the top picks in the draft at this point because they romanticize and make such a big deal out of it. In some ways, it's similar to the election cycle. Draft and drafting ideas and stuff is way too early. We never talked about the draft until like the end of the season back in the day. And now it's like all year long. They just don't shut up about Victor Wembanyama this, Cooper Flag this. It's very much like the U.S. political schedule where they just extended the political season. They extended the draft season. And it's stupid. It's manufactured by the media and it's bullshit is what it is. It's like we shouldn't be talking about draft picks so much, honestly. We really shouldn't. We should be talking about basketball. We should be talking about the team on the court playing their games instead of speculating about draft picks half the time. I mean, NBA fans that speculate about the draft on a regular basis every day, y'all are idiots. Seriously, do something better with your time. Just go fucking watch the games and then live your life otherwise. But over speculating about the draft is just loser stuff. It's just like trade talk. Same shit. It's dumb, a waste of time is what I'm saying. Let's see. Wayne saying Orlando is a keeper. Talk about Orlando Robinson. Kudos to the bench for constantly improving. Opportunities taken is excellent. I see no value in trading Chris Boucher. Who would be his replacement? Chris stays. No trade in nobody. Trade Bruce. I say trade Bruce. But yeah, I love what Chris has said recently. In an interview recently, he said he'd like to get an extension with the Raptors. That he's not really interested in going somewhere else. And that's been the case this whole time since he showed up. You know, in some ways, like he's had opportunities to leave in free agency, and he's taken the deal with the Raptors and stayed in Toronto. And some of it is because he doesn't want to screw up his life. In some ways, he understands how good he's got it in Toronto. He doesn't want to screw up his life. And well, in some ways, also the Raptors understand he's valuable to have on our franchise because he's from Montreal. And in some ways, that's great for marketing in that part of the country of Canada. So it's a good situation having Chris on our team because more Canadians on our team is a good thing. And Chris does value being on our team. You know, if there's players that are American and that don't value being on the Raptors ever in their entire life, well, Chris is the opposite. And in some ways, we need to embrace that and not kind of shun it and say, oh, you want to be a Raptor. Well, sorry, you're traded to the Denver Nuggets. No, in some ways, we should, especially since this is a real problem, getting free agents here. So when you have players that actually really want to be here and they are valuable and you want them to be here, you should respect that and keep them here, is what I'm saying. Fiercely saying, third win in a row. There's the steak for Darko dinner. That's right. Steaks. That's right. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. RG crew. All right, RG crew. Congrats. We got our record season 3 dubs in a row. Love our center, Orlando Robinson. Yeah, I like him too. I really like his presence. I like his physicality, and I like how effective he was at stopping the Hawks from scoring. He was really, really effective at that. It was kind of crazy how effective he was at slowing down the Hawks from scoring in the paint. He absolutely stopped them himself for a period of time in that game. Fiercely saying Jacoby's family were rooting and happy. Yeah, I guess that was his mom wearing the purple front blackback number 14 with the Raptors hat. Yeah, it's really great to see the joy of NBA families coming to see their young player play and be so happy. We've seen it with Jamal Shedd's family in Texas, and we've seen it now with Jacoby here. You know, Davion's probably got a bunch of family that was in the crowd too, being from Hinesville, Georgia. That some of his family probably came for the Atlanta games too to be out there. But yeah, really cool to see Jacoby's family there. Smooth saying that Orlando Robinson looks like he might be a keeper. I hope so. In some ways, we try out people. Well, what happens when they get that ticket to Hollywood, Bobby Webster? Does that mean they stay in Hollywood and they get to be on American Idol? Because it seems like this guy's got a successful tryout. This guy can sing. So we need to give him a ticket to Hollywood, Paula Abdul. So yeah, Orlando Robinson, another 10-day contract? Yes, please. Yes, please. Kareem saying, apparently Scotty dug into the team after the first game saying they needed to take pride in playing defense for Ahmet Man. For Ahmet Man, not for Ahmet Man. They're not doing it for Ahmet Man. That's just him saying that. Yeah, that makes sense because Scotty's showing that like on the court, like in the middle of the game. It's like you don't need Ahmet Man to tell you this because you can see it on the court. Scotty's literally yelling at them in the middle of the game on their assignments, whether he's in the game or not. He'll yell at them from the sideline, standing there, or he'll be yelling at them in the game while he's in the game with them. He's just yelling at them, that's for sure. Yeah. Smith saying Barnes really looking like prime Pippen. He has to keep playing like this. I don't know if Pippen's the right comparison. I mean, I get it. The all-aroundness is the thing you're comparing. The fact that he can get steals, blocks, rebounds, assists, and threes, just like Scotty could back then. But I want to say this because I feel like there's a distinction here. In some ways, Scottie Pippen was a guard forward wing in the way he did things. In some ways, he was a point guard. Scottie Pippen was often playing point guard with Michael Jordan as the off guard. Scottie, in some ways, is a front court player, and Pippen is more of a backcourt player. I think that this is part of the difference. And I really do think it's the aspects of Scotty that remind me of Kawhi and Tim Duncan that make him in a totally different kind of all-around player than Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen was more of an outside backcourt kind of steals kind of guy than a blocks guy, but he did get blocks. But I would say that Scotty's more of a blocks guy on the inside with his good defense than being an outside guy with steals, although he can do that also. So, but it's a good comparison. The all-roundness of Scotty's in the history of the NBA, Scottie Pippen, and Scotty Barnes is comparable, but in some ways, I think that, like I said, Scotty's more of a front court player, and in some ways, he needs to be starting to be compared to Tim Duncan. In some ways, I think that's who you need to start comparing him to in some ways, because the defensive aspect of Scotty's game is becoming more pronounced and a lot more apparent recently. And I think that in some ways, he's a team defender like Duncan was. And that's the aspect of the Raptors defense that's working so well right now is Scotty's being that team leader on defense like Duncan, as far as just cleaning stuff up, getting energetic, coming up on people, rebounding, blocking shots, getting steals. There's all kinds of stuff he's doing there for sure. I mean, Scottie Pippen to Scotty Barnes is a reasonable comparison because of all round game. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wayne saying Scotty's reaction to me is true leadership. Nice gets nothing. Nice wins nothing. If you miss your assignment, it can't be ignored. Accountability has been a big word that has been bandied around by Darko and some of the teammates. RJ saying we're keeping people accountable, and that's part of it. Listen, Scotty's going to be playing his ass off the way he's playing. He wants you to be accountable for you playing your ass off too if you're going to play on his team with him. And that's great. In some ways, Wayne's exactly right. We don't need nice leadership. We've had nice leadership in the past, and it hasn't worked. So having a tough leader that has a certain standard for himself and he expects the other guys to fall in line and go along with that standard also, that's a great thing because he'll elevate the whole entire team with his commitment to excellence. And I love it. I love it. The Smooth saying, Wayne, Chris already said he wants an extension with the Raptors. Bruce is the only one that has to be traded, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think the Raptors Freak Nation is on the same page on this. We know Bruce Brown needs the other shoe to drop and go somewhere else. It's just inevitable. It has to happen. And in some ways, Chris does not have to happen. Jakob does not have to happen. Kelly Olynyk does not have to happen either. But yeah, Bruce Brown probably does need to happen. Now, if somebody else needs to be involved in the deal to make the Bruce Brown deal happen, so be it. That may be part of the reason why somebody else is going to. It's just to make the deal work. But we'll see. We'll see. I like that Chris has already expressed he wants to continue to play for the Raptors going forward. I think that is a lot. He just loves our team. He really is a real one for the Raptors. And we got to remember this in the future after Chris's playing days, how he was such a real one for the Raptors during his career with us. And he is a champion Raptor also. Seymour saying Miami wants Bruce Brown. That's great. Let's figure it out. Let's get Bruce Brown down to South Beach and let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. My brother's here, guys. My brother went to the game last night. Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Good morning to you, Carl. I'm glad you guys went to the game and had such a good time. Such an awesome story of Harry getting a high five, Scotty Barnes, and just good stuff happening at the game. Such awesome. I'm so glad you guys went and you guys had the time and that were able to get down there and see the game. Those kind of memories are cherished forever. So cherished, like the game we went to together when you guys were up here for Christmas 2 Christmases ago, when we saw the Raptors play Ochai Agbaji and Kelly Olynyk on the Utah Jazz and lose right before Pascal and OG got traded from our team. Yeah. Those memories will always stay. I have so many different memories at Raptors games, and I'm glad that you guys made a Raptors memory on your own down in Atlanta last night. Watching the game. That means so much to me. And in some ways, I hope that you felt connected to me, even though I wasn't there, just because the team that I'm so passionate about was playing for you guys. That's right. And Smooth saying, yep, Miami wants him. Yeah, and their situation right now, in some ways, Bruce Brown's not a fill-in for Jimmy Butler, but he can do some of the stuff that Jimmy does and kind of replace him in some ways. Mike saying, Darko said at the beginning of the year he was going to focus main man defense to improve defensive skills. Zone is used to hide weak defenders. Man is how you improve through experience and filling holes. I love this. I mean, before even we switched to Darko from Nick, we were calling out, Nick, you need to play more man because it seems like we have such good defensive players that they could just play these guys straight up and they do fine. But all your switching systems and stuff that is making things overcomplicated. And maybe guys are overplaying on defense and we're getting burned for it, partly because of the system you're running. In some ways, we always just wanted them to play man defense and just stay at home and guard one guy instead of running crazy doubles on everybody, which are making weak spots for us on other sides of the court. So, yeah, I love this. And, yeah, you reminded me. I forgot that Darko had said that he had this commitment at the beginning of the season. And, well, we're seeing it through. The season has been going like this. That's right. Let's see. Nako saying Derek Queen, Common Malak, and maybe Jeremiah Fear, certified nachos. One of them should be available through the lottery. I like those players. Nako. Those are three of the players that I like so far that I've scouted. Queen, Malak, and Fears are three of the ones I've been the most impressed with so far with what you guys have brought me. Sue's here, guys. Play It Again, Sue. Check out her channel, Play It Again, Sue. She does a music reaction channel on YouTube. and she's reacting to classics and newer stuff too, here and there, videos, and has her friends on all the time. Play It Again, Sue, with friends. It's such a great channel. I want y'all to subscribe and watch her stuff. Sue, I see you took your message back. We love you, Sue. A great Raptor freak and a long time supporter of my channel. I appreciate you so much, Sue. And y'all definitely check out Play It Again, Sue. Reggie saying, open up a real possibility Toronto will be involved in a 3 or 4-way trade. This will be great. I mean, I think that's how it's going to go down. I think that we're not going to be a major player in the trade. We'll be an add-on, and we'll just utilize the trade situation to get our goals accomplished. And that's all. And in some ways, we'll take an opportunity of a situation where other teams need balancing out in the deal they're making, and we'll make it work. And we'll get in there and we'll take that opportunity for our advantage for what our goals are with Bruce Brown specifically. I think that that's the main name that needs to be involved if we're going to be involved as a fourth or third team in a trade. Yeah. G saying the problem with intentional tanking is you will lose the locker room. Winning players have pride. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they got to understand how difficult December was for the Raptors, Tank Nation. They really do. And I don't think they do. I don't think in some ways some fans are realistic about human beings that the players are. You know, they're the ones that are casually talking about trading people out in and out so easily. They have no loyalty in some ways. And that's the same kind of action. It's like they just don't look at the players as human beings with hearts that beat. They look at them as just like players on a roster, and they're just commodities. And these are people. In some ways, you need to start treating them like they have feelings. And in some ways, the Raptors organization treats it like a family. Well, the fans are very disconnected, and they have no perception of this aspect of the players are human beings. Hello, hello, they're human beings. And in some ways, losing hurts. Losing sucks. It's stressful. It's not fun. And in some ways, the whole point of why you play sports is to win, is what we're saying here this morning. That's what we're saying. That's right. Trevor's saying, beautiful to see all the hard work for the team coming together. I know it's a rebuild. I love winning more than losing. Yeah, RJ said that in the interview after the game the other day. It's nice to feel the hard work pay off for the season and all we've been through, to see good stuff starting to finally come around and happen for us. And that's why this needs to happen, is because in some ways, if you do everything right and you're just barely missing the goal, and it's frustrating. So you got to break through and get some wins at some point because you're doing it the right way. And it snowballs, and it makes you feel like, okay, we are getting confident because we are doing it the right way. We're starting to see results. If they were losing over and over again for this whole entire season, do you know how much that would jade them? Do you know how much that would make them feel negative? You know how hard that would be to withstand for the whole entire year? No, they need their fair share of winning also. And that's some ways it's like, look, once again, Raptors fans realize the schedule was set up for us to lose a lot at the beginning and win a lot at the end. That's just how it is. Every team has a strength of schedule at different parts. And we had the hardest schedule in the first half and the easiest schedule in the second half. So in some ways, us winning in the second half is naturally supposed to happen. Yeah, Nako's saying, long as you're building towards a winning system. That's right. And that's what it looks like what we're building right now. That's for sure. Carlos saying, good morning, Lex and Freaks. I don't care about getting a top 5 pick. A top 10 pick plus learning how to win plus Scotty's development, for me, is called winning development season. Yeah, I like what Kaloy's describing here. And good morning to Santino. Yeah, I like what he's describing here. Why not have the Venn diagram go over a couple areas together and have some progress in a couple areas? It doesn't have to all be just all tank, be the worst you can and get the highest draft pick. No, we can find a measured success in different areas of learning to win more and winning some more, along with not being good enough to get out of the lottery and still getting a lottery pick. Because that sounds like that's what's likely is going to happen. I don't think it's likely we're going to be in the play-in. I think it's likely we'll be one of the bottom 5 teams in the Eastern Conference, and we'll have a top 10 pick in the draft. And it doesn't need to be a top 5 pick like everybody in Stank Nation thinks it needs to be. Yeah. Wayne saying, don't see any value in doing any trades now when we have players really starting to gel together over our challenging timeline. Again, if mentoring trades, please state who goes and who's coming to us. Yeah, the only one I would do is Bruce. And that's only because in some ways we could get some assets for him at this point still that could be very, very useful. Very, very useful. Man, it's so pretty outside. There's a ton of snow that's come down since I started doing my stream. And it's just absolutely covered everything. Everything's covered with snow outside right now. That's crazy. Carlos, and I'm hoping they only deal Bruce out and extend the rest of the vets. We're going to need them next year. I want to see Chris back and Davion. Those two guys in particular are the guys I want to see. Most of the other guys are all under contract still. Like all of our main players are under contract next year because most of them are on rookie contracts. That's why. RJ and Emmanuel and Scotty are all done. They've been that, RJ's still good for another 2 years, I think. And Emmanuel and Scotty just signed long-term deals for like a long time. So they're done. Like we don't have a lot of big like moves to do as far as re-signing guys this summer. We can just do little moves. Let's see. Fiercey saying, side note, I enjoy Hawks home games as I see the announcer, Big Tiga, who used to have an iconic BET show called The Basement. Hip hop greatness went on his show. There you go. That's cool. Is it in arena announcer? Big Tiga. He's kind of like our Mark Strizzy or a Herbie. Yeah. Of course, the announce crew for the Hawks is Dominique Wilkins. He's the color guy. He's a great legend. And yeah, we love Dominique, former teammate of Kevin Willis, former Raptor. Yeah. Dominique Wilkins, of course, he calls the game pretty fairly. I didn't listen to them. Of course, I listened to our broadcast. But I'm sure Dominique would have been very interesting to hear as the Hawks broadcaster in these two games against the Raptors. He probably had a lot of glowing things to say about Scotty in particular, if not about the Raptors and their defensive effort also. Yeah, cool, man. So Big Tiga works for the Hawks there. Carlos saying, I used to watch The Basement on BET too, Fiercey. There you go. Mike saying, Mitchell, Boucher, and Bruce are expiring, so they could go out to bring in extra picks and or prospects and more expiring contracts for next year. There you go, Mike. Being my guy with the salary cap and the front office stuff knowledge. Yeah. Expiring contracts are very attractive in the NBA these days. And in some ways, that is a commodity that everybody likes. But once again, I'll ask this. What are you doing? Are you in the now or are you only thinking about the later in the future with expiring contracts? At some point, you got to deal with the now instead of always worrying about the next, what's coming next, what can we get next? Carlos saying RJ's defense is getting better too. Yeah. I think that in some ways, Scotty being an all-around great defender, he can cover up a lot of stuff for some of the other guys like Grady and RJ. And, in some ways, his doggedness is going to rub off on them. They may gamble at times in certain ways. But the one thing I will say, the Raptors gamble a little bit on steals and stuff. And that's okay because, a lot of times Jakob's out there for rim protection as the last line of defense. But now, if Orlando Robinson is going to stick around, we'll have a backup guy that can do it too. That would be good. That would be really, really good. G saying Grady needs an offseason with Davion mentoring him on defense. I hope they extend Davion. Yeah, that'd be really, really good. Nako saying has to be a few teams in the East that need a Davion. I keep Davion for at least a year or two more. We'll just have to see. He's not under a contract for next year. We didn't put an extension on him where we could have. So we are really trying him out, and he will be a free agent this summer. But I think he really likes it here. And that if people are sending money contracts to him, he's more likely, if we match any kind of contract out there, he'll stay with us. It may actually be that he's a restricted free agent and that we can do that. But I would even say if he's an unrestricted free agent and he's testing the market and he has a certain offers from different teams, if our offer, even if it's just a little bit less than another team, he might pick us just because he's really enjoying being a Raptor. You can tell Davion really likes being in Toronto. You can really tell. Edmund's here. Good to see Race Mode Daily in the chat. Hello, Lex and crew. I'm spending time today catching up on the winning games. What's up with IQ? Well, IQ has had a laundry list of injuries this season. He's had 4 or 5 different injuries since his summer league, and it's been annoying. He's had a shoulder injury. He's had a hip injury. He's had an arm injury. He's had different injuries, and he's got a different one now. He's got a hip injury right now, which is keeping him out. He ran into a screen in a game a couple weeks ago, and he got hit real hard, and that's why he's sitting right now. In some ways, him and Oshai being out right now, like Oshai with the finger, I don't totally believe that they have to be out right now. I think in some ways the Raptors are kind of holding back their full roster at times here and there. Like I seriously think Emmanuel could probably be back very soon. It's just that they're really not rushing them. They want him to be 100%. Especially Oshai. Oshai could put something on his finger and cover it, and he could be out there right now. But they're really, really babying him and making sure that they're absolutely 100%, just like a phone charger. You don't want your phone off the phone charger until it's 100%. They may be sitting at 92%. You could grab that phone off the phone charger, but they're letting them heal all the way up to 100%. That's the way I think it is as far as with injuries with our team this year. Like any of them, Kelly Olynyk's back at the beginning of the season. He took extra long time to come back. Bruce Brown recovering from his surgery and finally making his season debut. This is basically like a phone and charged, and they're waiting for them to get all the way up to 100% before they're pulling them off the charger. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So it's like Oshai's fingers got to absolutely completely heal off of the stitches before he'll probably be out there. And it's the same thing with Emmanuel. Emmanuel may be able to play. It's just they want him to be 100%. That's what I feel like is happening. Seymour saying steak and potatoes, 3-game winning streak, steak breakfast. That's right. Streak breakfast. That's right. That's right. Dinner with Darko. This never was a pizza party, a cheap ass Chuck E. Cheese pizza party. No, it isn't. This is about wine, vino, and maybe an espresso and a big, big plate of red meat and asparagus and potatoes. That's what it's about. It's like going down to one of the most fancy restaurants in Toronto and getting a high 5-star meal that's probably worth a lot of money. It costs a lot. That's what they're getting. They deserve it. That's what I'm saying. They deserve it. That's right. Bell peppers. Okay. Who's the next victims? The Pelicans tomorrow. New Orleans Pelicans tomorrow here in Toronto. Zion Williamson's team coming to play us. Now, the thing is, the Pelicans, we beat them in New Orleans for our first road victory of the season. They were in a bad place then, but they're getting in a better place. They actually have a win streak right now, and they're healthier. So they're a little bit more dangerous than the last time we played them. Tomorrow I'll have the preview with the latest lineup news and the referee report to give you the absolute best idea of what we are walking into against the Pelicans tomorrow. So we'll see how it is. Chris comes here. Good to see the great Chris come. Hopefully he's predicting good wins for the Raptors also, like this what's been happening. Mike saying we could end up with Nurkic, Mitchell, and Boucher for Nurkic and Suns first. I don't see Nurkic's bad attitude working well here. This is weird to me. It's like Phoenix traded out DeAndre Ayton for use of Nurkic with Portland because Ayton had a bad attitude, and now Nurkic is having a bad attitude. Maybe they're just bad at matching coaches with centers. Monty Williams and Ayton didn't get along. Budenholzer and Nurkic don't get along. Well, Phoenix, you're a mess. Like, honestly, I don't understand why Phoenix is so inept right now. They are doing major moves. They have a new owner that's willing to spend money, and they're failing left and right. They're absolutely failing left and right. It's so weird to me. Yeah, I don't know if I want Nurkic on our team. Jakob, we've got Jakob. We don't necessarily need Josef Nurkic on our team. I really don't, especially if he is somewhat the attitude problem for what's the situation in Phoenix right now. In that case, aren't the fans that are pro tanking tribalistic too? That's just odd. Not everyone is to agree in what their preference is moving forward. I don't know. Maybe Blake is aware of our channel and what we do here, and he thinks maybe we're tribalistic. I don't know, Blake. Get off your high horse. Seriously, man. Seriously, Blake, you're a half-ass fan. You're a journalist. You used to be a fan, but you're not really a fan anymore. You're a jaded guy who's weird. And I don't get that. I mean, whatever. You can call it tribalistic. I'm a Raptors fan. I'm a tribal for my team and my positive for my team. And some of the fans that call themselves fans for Raptors are not positive for a team. They're toxic and they are an issue. Some people may say I'm toxic because I'm so positive. Well, you can go ahead and say that, but it's a label. You want to call it tribalistic, Blake, that's fine. But in some ways, this doesn't really fit with what we're talking about here because we should all be Raptors fans. And I mean, sports in itself is tribalistic. I mean, it's kind of stupid for an employee of Sportsnet to call something tribalistic when sports in itself, having teams against each other teams, is very tribalistic, Blake. Hello. Hello, dummy. Fiercely saying, yes, fam. Edmund and IQ is injured. That's right. It's too bad. Seymour saying, forget targeting skill, target durability. Because when this team is healthy and all together, we have a problem. Yeah. I think that's true. One of the things that's missed on younger fans is like you need a whole package of a player. You could have a player like Lonzo Ball who's so fun to watch, but if he's not healthy and able to play, Zion Williamson, what a cautionary tale right there. Ben Simmons, another one. They can be skilled, they can be all badass, but if they don't play, if they're weird, if there's some sort of other problems with their mentality, yeah, you need to look at the whole picture. And in some ways, it's not just about making threes and scoring a lot and fancy dribbles. It's about fundamentally being a good player. It's about being durable. It's about being a good teammate. It's about being a person of character. It's about being a professional. And there's a lot of young players that come in the league that aren't professional and don't act professional. They may be talented enough to hang around and be in the league, but they're not real true professionals. Ask DeMar DeRozan. He knows. He knows. That's right. That's right. Fiercely saying it was really nice at some point to see Raptors bench had 38 points and the Hawks only 5. Whoa. Yeah, that's a big testament to Chris Boucher, Bruce Brown, and I guess Jacoby Walter in this situation. Yeah. Also, we should give props to Orlando as at first the Gambler was also missing assignments, but came around, i.e. Porter. So Orlando will be fine. Yeah, I don't want to compare Orlando Robinson to Jonte Porter, because Jonte is a totally different player, and in some ways, he was a better player than Orlando, honestly, which is too bad because he really wasted his life just now with what he did. I don't want to even bring up Jonte. Don't bring him up unless you have to. Orlando's a totally different build of a player. He's a more center, a real center. He's a real center as far as he's the size and kind of like has to be slotted in center. He can't play power forward. Jonte could play power forward, and Jonte could shoot threes way better than Orlando. So it's not a really good comparison. Honestly, please do not bring up Jonte unless absolutely necessary. He's a black mark in the history of the Raptors. So yeah, I can't do that. Logical saying, hang on. Big Chris for 3. That's right, 3. Yeah, a lot of threes. He's just bombing, and he's so unconscious with it now. It's like he's in such a zone, Mike, and it's been like for his whole birthday month, where it's like he's not even thinking about it. It's unconscious. He just like lofts it up, and it's through the net. I was watching him warm up before the game last night, and he really is like very casual about his 3-point shooting right now, but it's so on the money and making it. He's very loose about it. He's very, very loose about it. He's not overthinking about it. He's just shooting them, and they're going in. And I love it. He's just in a zone. He's in a real zone and a flow of life. And Chris, man, just stay there, man. You're doing so good. You've been in that flow. Mischief saying, I wouldn't mind 6'9" Igor Demon, even though he dropped from 4th to 10th, best passer in the top 10 draft picks. We did see Igor. I did do a scout on him, but I wasn't that impressed with him. He was on BYU, right? He's on BYU. Yeah, I don't know. I thought he was a good passer, but in some ways he didn't impress me that much. In some ways, I did do the scout on him. It's interesting he's dropped in his draft stock. He's dropped a bit. The G saying best passer sounds very Darko like. We'll look Igor up. Yeah, when I looked at him, the passing's okay, but for some reason I wasn't that impressed with him. I don't know. When I like watching somebody, I'll wow them and I'll let y'all know. But if I'm kind of like like the guy today, Ryan, I'll be honest. Yeah, this guy doesn't really move me. This guy doesn't really get me excited in some ways. It's like, he looks like he might be slow in this kind of way. So let's see. Nako's saying, I'm behind on the stream. Yeah, Ryan's a second rounder. It's probably naive to think Rasheer would drop to us. Rasheer. Orlando seems more mobile than Bruno. Yeah, he was. In some ways, that's a better comparison to make, Fiercey, is Bruno Fernando to Orlando Robinson, because they're more, that's the spot. And honestly, Orlando did way more defensively last night than Bruno Fernando did for most of the season at any point. And that's why I really like him. I really, really like him. He's an upgrade on Bruno Fernando. I feel like he is. And I do feel like he's more mobile for sure. Sue saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Great win. Let's go, Raptors. There you go. I love it. We're winning again. And a lot of the regular Raptor Freaks are coming back and rejoining the channel. This is awesome. It's been lean times. I wonder sometimes about my view counts. They go down when we're losing really bad. Obviously, it's not as many people are interested in hearing about the Raptors losing. But when we start winning, my view counts start going up. And that's fantastic. Great to have Sue back in the chat this morning. Kaz saying, good morning, Lex and crew. Great win last night. Let's go. Let's go, Trucker Kaz. It's Sunday. You're sitting at home. It's a snowy day in Ontario right now. But yeah, 3 p.m., the Raptors 905 will play the Long Island Nets. 3 p.m. tip-off in Laval, Quebec. So be ready for that, guys. Action at 3 p.m. G League action. Yeah, Jimmy's saying, ideally, we get that top 5 pick and grow at the same time. I think we can do it. I think so, too. We'll just have to see. Like I said, let's meet somewhere in the middle. It doesn't have to be so extreme that we have to be the absolute worst that we are as far as record to get the absolute highest pick. In some ways, we can temper it with learning and winning. In some ways, that was Blake's point. It's like we can be somewhere in the middle. But I don't think that people should value tanking on purpose. I really don't. I really don't. I think, and you can call it tribalistic. It's kind of dumb. It's more like a philosophical discussion. And well, just like Plato and Socrates and all those different people had different disciples that believe different kind of philosophies. Well, that's what this is, Blake. It's not tribalistic. It's just that we don't believe in the philosophy of tanking. We don't. As Raptor freaks, we do not. That's right. Most of us don't. Some of us do to an extent. I mean, I think that you lose, you lose. And well, if you lose, you get what you get as far as like what you get in the lottery. And in some ways, you shouldn't be trying to manipulate that on purpose. I think that that's what Adam Silver said. He doesn't want teams to manipulate their record on purpose to try and get a higher draft pick. And that's what tanking is. So I don't get it. I don't understand why people think that that's actually an allowable thing or thing that the NBA even wants to happen at this point, because they've made very strict rules against it. And if you're caught doing it, there are penalties. And I don't know why Raptors fans are like, oh, let's tank, because it's stupid. It's a stupid mentality. And whatever. I tell you, the Tank Nation tribe is stupid, Blake Murphy. They're stupid. They're stupid people. That's what I'll say. All right, let's do the Instagram stories since Trevor's brought it up. There's Shamshay celebrating Bruno Fernando getting signed to Real Madrid. I think we did that yesterday. Let's see. What else do we got? Lloyd is in some sort of cool bar somewhere, a restaurant. I don't know where that is. Toronto Tempo president was at the PWHL game last night, the Pro Women's Hockey League game, repping the Toronto Tempo, came out on the ice at Scotiabank, and the Scepters got the win, and she came out and she threw the puck down to start the game. I believe that's what happens. President of Toronto Tempo, Teresa Resch, in her awesome, iconic Roots jacket, wearing it, and hopefully they sell a lot more. Yeah, she was the puck drop last night at the game for that game. Pretty cool stuff. Love to see women's sports getting more prominence and more on put on blast. And PWHL is a part of it with the hockey, and the WNBA will be a part of it in the next couple of years too. So I love to see the build towards the Toronto Tempo and what is coming with that competitiveness. I'm so excited for it, and I'm ready to be a big-time tempo freak and covering that team just like I cover the Raptors. Jonathan Mobo putting Bruno Fernando on blast for his Real Madrid signing also. Very happy for him. And he's posted the SpongeBob SquarePants. Even though he's not with the team, he's in Montreal. He's not with the team in Atlanta for the games. He said, want to see me beat the Hawks? Want to see me do it again? It's SpongeBob with the 30th anniversary Raptors logo on it. It's so cool, man. I mean, in some ways, I get this gloating. This gloating is okay, even though I don't like it. Raptors admin, we shouldn't be gloating because honestly, it leaves so many doors open for motivation for other franchises to get pissed off and beat our ass. Like Hawks Nation could see this stuff, and this is bulletin board fodder. Seeing this SpongeBob SquarePants meme that y'all put out all over the place, and the players are reposting it, and the fans are reposting it. It's great, but in some ways, this is part of what I'm talking about. Being a good winner is, sportsmanship. You usually don't get cocky and you do stupid memes like this after games. This has been a very new thing by Raptors admin that I don't agree with. It's a similar kind of energy as Justin Champagnie sunning his teammates in interviews. We don't need to do this. This is unnecessary. We can win in dignity, not act like this. It's just like children's behavior to gloat and post dumb SpongeBob memes like this. I'm serious. It's not worth it. You guys may be causing more problems for us down the road by pissing people off than actually enjoying the fun of like enjoying the win because of your dumb little memes. So I don't like this aspect, and I don't like that it's official Raptors account that is putting shit out. You guys think you're cheeky and fun, but in some ways we should be better winners is what I'm saying. Seriously. Because in some ways, once again, the team is a role model. A team is a role model for young people that are learning how to play sports. And if you go and show this kind of cocky behavior with cheeky little SpongeBob memes, that's the wrong kind of message to young people like my nephew who are looking for leadership in sports from their teams that they root for. So I'll just say that I don't like this direction that the Raptors official admin social media managers are doing with the cheeky dumbass shit after we win games. We've won 13 games this season. We've barely won on the road this year, and we have no right to be big in our britches with SpongeBob memes this season. I'm sorry. Call me an old head. Call me an old head from Michael Jordan era. This kind of shit wouldn't fly in the old NBA, what you're doing, Raptors social media manager, just so you know. It wouldn't fly in the old NBA. Pascal Siakam on the red carpet, literally in Paris during the Paris series, looking awesome, getting the win yesterday, getting it done, on his way back to North America, I'm sure, already yesterday. So good job, Pascal, even in the series against the Spurs in the Paris series this weekend. Very, very good stuff there. Let's see. Do we have anybody else? Emmanuel celebrating the win over the Hawks, 117 to 194. Fantastic blowout, 23-point win. Scotty's got some of his highlights on here in transition. The lob over to RJ for a three. It's not even one of his highlights that he's putting up. He's got his highlights of his teammates he's putting up on his Instagrams. Zach Edey shows a picture of him shaking hands with Jean Morant after a big win, I guess, against the Utah Jazz. And let's see, Bruno Fernando celebrated by a slim duck on his Instagram. And let's see who else is on Chris's Instagram. There he is coming in the game. Chris was wearing a really cool Raptors toque with different Raptors logos on it last night. Really, really cool to see in the interview. That's another way you know he's a real one for the Raptors. He's wearing Raptors gear when he doesn't have to because he's representing his team. I like that. I like that a lot. He got the SpongeBob meme on his. I mean, it's cute, but anyway, it's unnecessary. And in some ways, I don't like it. Like I said, I already did my spiel on it. Let's see. Davion Mitchell has got a picture of him and RJ on his Instagram stories. 3-ball. I like that. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, Davion coming in the game. And Davion got home last night around 2:47 a.m. He's got his dog out in the yard taking a walk with the dog. So they got it back late last night from Atlanta. And 2:47 was the timestamp of Davion out in the yard in the snow with his dog, taking him out for a potty break. Now the Raptors got to get up and go to practice. In fact, they probably arrived at practice not too long ago, getting down to Scotiabank Arena for the coaches open house, where they will have a practice in front of coaches that are there to learn from the Raptors coaching staff this morning. That event is going on presently right now as we speak. The Raptors coaches open house is at Scotiabank Arena right now. RJ Barrett on his Instagram showing highlights from the game last night. Fantastic block of Scotty in transition, and then leads to a three by him. Fantastic stuff. So great highlights on the Raptors. There's Jamal Shed celebrating Bruno Fernando's Real Madrid. And they've got some weird footage of him filming Ochai Agbaji in the back. So I guess Ochai lost a bet with Jamal Shed. I guess he had to say "Go Cougars," which is Houston, and he didn't really want to. He half-heartedly said it. He whispered it almost. Yeah, but Jamal, I guess, won a bet with Ochai Agbaji where he had to root for his college team of Houston. And I don't think Ochai was very happy about it. It's what it looks like in there. Yeah, and there's the SpongeBob meme on Jamal Shed's thing. There's Jacoby Walter for the game on his Instagram, and there's the SpongeBob meme on his. And then there's the marching band interrupting Matt Devlin and Alvin Williams the last time they were in Atlanta. Yeah, that was pretty funny when that happened. And of course, they make them sit so far away from the crowd now that they make them sit up very high in the arena. That's the Instagram stories for today. Yeah, people are happy for Bruno Fernando signing with Real Madrid, and SpongeBob meme is annoying. It's it's not classy. There's no reason to do it. Is the way I feel about it. I mean, I'm glad we're winning, but we need to be better winners, Raptors organization. And social media managers, stop doing this shit. It's not necessary. In some ways, it's really low class, honestly. It's really low class. Let's keep going. Wayne saying, Lex, do the maths of remaining games. We're 6 games from 10th place. Remaining half of the season, Raptors win 30%. We're there. The issue is we're not a bad team overall. Next. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm okay with us doing that. It's just that if we don't, I'm okay with that too. I really looked at this season as being, I'm going to just let this season be what it's going to be because I knew the schedule was going to be tough and the injuries really turned bad early. And so I said, all right, I just have to give it up to my higher power that the Raptors are going to do what they're going to do this season. I have no expectations and I'm just going to allow them to be who they are. And that's really the way I've been trying to deal with this season. So even as things change and even as opportunities seems like they're coming up, like Wayne's saying, I'm not going to expect this or say this is what has to happen. I'm literally going to let this team do whatever the hell it's going to do this year and be perfectly fine with it. So this is literally a year with no expectations from me, particularly. Now, other fans, they can have expectations, stuff like that, but I don't see the point because we're in a rebuild and we need to just go ahead and go through the mud with what you got to do in a rebuild right now in this season. Mike's saying extension talks happen after the trade deadline. We get till free agency day to get him to agree to an amount. Who you talking about, Mike? You talking about? Wayne saying, what the hell are we doing with the center from Phoenix when we have Jakob? Make it make sense. Please don't spoil my Sunday Raptor Freak conversation. Yeah, I'm not interested in Nurkic. I may have been interested in him a couple years ago, but it sounds like he's a problem. And in some ways, it's weird. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, this is not a need we have. So making a trade with Phoenix to help them out with a Nurkic problem, that doesn't make any sense to me as far as why we would need to do that, unless it makes sense with Bruce Brown somehow. That I don't know. Fiercely saying, imagine being positive being labeled as toxicity. Guess I'm a toxic Raptors fan. Well, this is true. I mean, there is such a thing as toxic positivity, where somebody is absolutely always so positive. They don't see any of the reality of their life, and they're kind of just overlooking it. In some ways, they're like maybe shallowly positive, but very negative on the down low inside. And it comes out in ways where you'll see it, and that's toxic. I've always thought that this was a weird knock. Like this has been a knock that has been hung on me a lot in the 3 years of doing this channel. And in some ways, I'm like, okay, well, you know what? If everybody's toxic, I'd much rather be positively toxic than negatively toxic. In some ways, I don't want to be that asshole that crushes dreams and tells people, oh, you can't do this and can't do that. That you want to be somebody who's nurturing and positive. And it is what it is. Toxic positivity is a real thing. I do believe in that, but I don't think what we're doing here is exactly toxic. In some ways, some people always say, "Oh, Lex, you're such a cult of personality as far as your beliefs on the Raptors," and in some ways, you do not have patience or time for people that disagree with you. That's not totally true. That's not totally true. There is a realm of area that I want to work within that demands respect for our franchise and our players and our people that work for the team. But there's also a certain level of constructive criticism and the ability to talk about it all in an adult way that is wanted. And that's why I may lash out at somebody who's just unnecessarily negative towards the team because they're not really offering any kind of constructive input that's helpful. It's just they're just bashing the team. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Positive toxicity. It's a weird thing. I don't know. Everybody's toxic at different times in their life for different reasons, for whatever reason. And that's just the damn truth. I'd rather be positive toxic, I guess. Mike's saying we would trade Nurkic like Brown and have a first for 2 expiring players, and the Suns get under the second apron next year so they can add contracts together in trades. Okay, he traded Schroeder for Green and the first, then traded Green for Horford in a first, then traded Horford for Kemba in a first, and that's how OKC got good. Yeah, you're some of this is just going over my head. I get what you're saying in some ways. I don't know if that deal makes sense to Masai and Bobby, do it. But I'm not trying to just bail out Budenholzer versus Yusuf Nurkic feud just to help Phoenix. In some ways, that's not why we're here. Yeah. Cass saying, oh, I didn't know the 905 played today. Thanks for the heads up, Lex. Yeah, 3 o'clock. We're playing again in Quebec. There you go. And Seymour saying hi to Eye Candy. Wayne saying, it is childish, however, it's being done by children. We're of a different generation. Yeah, I just don't get it. I mean, I don't get the SpongeBob meme. I really don't. I guess maybe it's an internet thing. Maybe it is just like a Gen Z kind of thing. But to me, it is stupid. And like if Michael Jordan had people putting memes like that on him, well, he would destroy franchises for this kind of shit. Like he say, what did they do? The Raptors beat us twice in Chicago, and now they put a SpongeBob meme out there about us. Just imagine how Michael Jordan would react to shit like that. Seriously, he would kill a team, like destroy them on the court. Do some 81 shit like Kobe if somebody made a little SpongeBob meme about him. That's what we need to realize, man. In some ways, we don't need to be fueling the fire. I'm glad we won, but we don't need to rub it in a childish, stupid ass way with a child's cartoon, is what I'm saying. And I can stand on this hill and have an opinion because I'm just a person. You can disagree with me. That's fine. Some people like the SpongeBob meme. You go ahead and like it. I don't. And that's all right. I can agree to disagree with you. I think it makes us look not classy. It makes us look like a childish team, is what it makes me feel like. Seriously. So, seriously, Raptors social media manager, you represent the players, the coaches, the fans, the team, the franchise, Masai Ujiri, and you gonna put fucking SpongeBob shit out? Seriously? It's not worth it. It cheapens us and it makes us look childish, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying right now. All right, let me keep going. Logical saying a lot of teams are memeing. Media managers of other teams do the same thing. And the Magic even had a fat Drake singing that Orlando Magic song. The Raps Boston win post got attention. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I guess this is just the way we're going in society, that this kind of childish, trivial shit is going to be more prominent. So other teams are doing it. Doesn't mean we have to be unclassy like them. That's what I would say. The Raptors have a certain level of excellence in everything they do with quality. And you can see it in the in-game ops and the way we run our teams. You can see in the difference between the Hall of Fame ceremony for Vince Carter yesterday and the one that we put for him last year. That's what I'm saying. In some ways, we could be better than this. Just because other teams are doing it doesn't mean we need to, is what I'm saying. Mike's saying Brandon Jennings said Tatum was soft. So the Raps media posted the box score by quarters. And for the fourth quarter, where Boston got 15, they put a pic of Brandon Jennings instead of 15. Yeah, it's just silly trolling. In some ways, this is toxic shit. This is toxic Reddit kind of bullshit. This is toxic social media, Facebook kind of bullshit. If it's just the way the world's going to be now, I guess I just got to accept it and be an old fogey as I get older in my age and saying, you youngsters, you're so stupid with your dumb SpongeBob memes. I guess I'll just be that old guy. It's no fun saying, yeah, your dumb meme stuff is stupid and childish. I don't even understand why you're doing this. I'll take the W and feel good. I don't need to gloat over my opponent with a dumbass thing. That's what I'll say right there. Fiercey's saying W Streamlex. Thank you. Thank you. And Mike's saying Mitchell becomes a UFA this summer. Okay, so he's unrestricted, but I think he has a loyalty to us. Watch. But we have like 4 months to negotiate an extension before our other team can offer anything. Yeah, I don't know if I'm worried about Mitchell in some ways. Whatever it will be, say que sera, sera. If he's going to walk and go to another team, so be it. It may be because he wants more money than we can give him. If we're going to keep him, that's fantastic. I want to keep him at a good price and keep him in the fold because he is valuable to our team. But in some ways, he's not totally necessary to our team also. He's a great add-on. He's a great piece. He's a great defender. But in some ways, I'm not going to be losing sleep over the future of Davion Mitchell, whether he's a Raptor or not. I hope he will be. I do. I'm very much on that side. Cass saying, where can I find this meme post? I missed the first part of the stream. Oh, you can find it anywhere. Go look at the Raptors official Instagram stories, or go look at Jonathan Mobo's, or go look at Jamal Shed's. Any of the players' accounts, a lot of them have it up. It's just a dumb little picture of SpongeBob, and it's rubbing in that we beat the Hawks twice in a row in their building is basically what it is. Stillman's saying Charlotte routed the Pelicans yesterday and lost 2 in a row. If the Raptors played their game, we got a chance at 4-game win streak. That would be awesome for us. I think we will get 4-game win streak because the Pelicans are not very good. We've beat them already this year. I'll have to see where they are with their health and see exactly where they are. But if Charlotte's routing the Pelicans, well, hell yeah, the Raptors can route the Pelicans tomorrow in their home arena tomorrow. Yeah, I want to see a 4-game win streak. For damn sure I do. And then I want to see a 5-game win streak because we're playing the Wizards after that. So, yeah, there's a good chance, Stillman, that we're going to continue to extend this win streak. So, Stank Nation, you go ahead and be stank with your stank attitudes about what you want us to do. That Canadian saying, was Mitchell really getting that much of a chance in Sacramento? I don't think so. Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of it right now. I think you're exactly right. I think that with De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, and different people in that organization, they were getting the key spots that he would have been in, and he was an afterthought. And in some ways, they weren't developing him correctly over there. And I think that he's getting the chances now. And the crazy thing is, he wasn't really supposed to be our starting point guard, but he's had to be because of Emmanuel's injuries. And I think he's done a fantastic job. But yeah, I think that that's part of the reason why Davion may have loyalty to our team is because he's finally getting a good chance here, and he's really, really relishing it, and he really is grateful for it. In some ways, that's what you got to think about. The NBA is a weird place with 30 different teams, and each ecosystem of each team is different. That's part of the reason why Chris Boucher is probably more likely to want to stay in Toronto than go to another team, because he knows if he goes to another team, he's going to have to deal with a new coaching staff, a new coach, and new teammates. And his puzzle piece in that environment may not get the same kind of things that he's established here in Toronto. And Davion was not getting what he was wanting to get in Sacramento. He's getting it more here in Toronto. That will build loyalty for our team right there, is what I'm saying. That Canadian, good to see you in the chat this morning. Cass saying Davion can get a minimum, if not keep moving. Yeah, I don't know how much we'll pay him. I don't know what he should get. In some ways, he's the kind of guy who just feels blessed to be playing in the NBA and keeping an NBA career. So he may be very affordable. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Dak Canadian saying, don't bite the hand that feeds you. That's right. That's what I'm saying. That's right. He's been really, really showing commitment to our franchise. I mean, how many 905 games has he gone to this year? And he did not have to go to those games. Him sitting at the sideline at 905 games has been huge, because honestly, in some ways, he's there mentoring Jacoby while he's down there playing on that level. He's down there giving advice, hopefully, to Evan Gilliard about how to play certain ways. Who knows? Like, it really shows a real commitment to our franchise that Davion Mitchell has been at 905 games on the regular when he's in town and able to be there. He's gone every single time he can. And also seeing him at the last one that he went to, sitting next to Masai, Bobby, and Darko, that's a good sign that he's pretty ingrained and in touch with the leaders of our franchise, and he may be a part of our future. If he's going to take extra time in his free time, he doesn't have to be at 905, and he's going to sit next to his coach, Coach Rajakovic, and talk to him for half the game and just get inside each other's heads. That's fantastic time spent sitting with your coach, watching the G League team, the sideline. It's amazing, amazing smart. Mike saying, if it makes sense to Masai, we'll keep Mitchell. His $6 million isn't a lot of salary, so he's unlikely to move. Yeah, that's another part of it. Is like, if the chip of the piece of the salary isn't that extremely big, it's easier to retain and fit into somewhere into the cap structure. So yeah, that's very true. Cass saying, I'm not playing Davion more than he makes now. I'm not paying Davion more than he makes now. That's my stance. Well, you can be a hardline businessman. In some ways, we don't know the market value of what he may get offered as an unrestricted free agent in this offseason, because in some ways he has been very attractive to people. I think since he came to Toronto this year, his value's gone up, and that people have seen firsthand just what a great defensive player he is. So we'll have to see. The market's going to determine some of this. And, well, the personnel decisions that our front office make, I stand by them because I trust them, is what I'll say right there. Yeah. Yeah. Slug saying, I might be early, but I see shades of SGA in Jacoby's game. That's an interesting comparison. If he was more of a point guard, I might say that. The person I keep comparing Jacoby to is an old school person. It's Jamal Crawford. That's who. And man, it's so white outside now. It's like so much snow coming down right now. It's crazy. You can see it in reflection on my face. But yeah, Jacoby to me reminds me of more of an old school kind of scorer, like Alex English or Jamal Crawford kind of player, a player that can score from all levels and can do all the basic offensive moves, whether it's post up, whether it's drive the basket, 3-pointers, mid-range floaters, transition stuff. Jacoby's an all-round scorer, and he reminds me of Jamal Crawford. I think he's the guy that I like to compare him to. It's SGA's lofty goal to be that kind of player, and I don't know if he's going to be like SGA. In some ways, that he has to have more of a point guard aspect to him. If Jacoby was being asked to play more point guard, which I know he can, he's probably could play point guard pretty good. Be interesting. There was a debate watching the 905 game the other day in the chat about who the point guard should be for the 905. Gilliard has been starting recently. Some people in the 905 chat think that the 905 should not start a small point guard in Gilliard or Chandler and start Jared Rhoden as a point guard starter, or maybe even Jacoby Walter should be the starting point guard for the 905 just to get him development in that role. Maybe that does go in that kind of direction, like Slug DZ saying, where he does become more like SGA because he is playing more point guard. But he hasn't really played much point guard at all in his rookie year so far. He hasn't really at all. Let's see. That Canadian saying only a dream, but having SGA and Scotty as a backcourt would be crazy. That would be crazy. That would be absolutely nuts. I mean, it would be awesome. I don't know if that ever be possible, but if it is, if there's a world that happens in, I want to be in it. I want to be in it. I do. G saying Slug, I was thinking the same thing. Not that he will get to that level, or maybe he will, but the movement and style. Yeah, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. It's a different kind of player. I don't know how to explain it exactly. In some ways, Jacoby's just really solid, but there's a certain aggressiveness that SGA has that you either just really have it and you have it right away or you don't. And I don't know if Jacoby can get that aggressiveness developed into him. That is the thing I would worry about him getting anywhere near SGA's level. Is he has to have that aggressiveness and that fierceness like him. And in some ways, Jacoby, it's not that he's passive. It's just that it's a whole weird level of aggressiveness with SGA and how he tries to control the game and what he does with his talent. So that's tough. It's something you got to have like right away. And in some ways, I don't know if Jacoby's showing it. Let's see. Dak Canadians saying only a dream, but having that would be crazy. Yeah. And Kaz is saying better option than Chandler. Yeah, Gilliard, Roden, or Walter at point guard. I mean, if Shed was down there, he'd be playing point guard for them, probably. All right, let me go through my tabs real quick and make sure I didn't miss anything talking today. I guess I'm at 2 hours right now. I just got to my cutoff. All right, we did the stars of the game. I need to do the classic card. I know that. I talked about that Nurkic stuff. Let's see. Happy birthday to Vince Carter and Ronald Dupree. It is Vince Carter's birthday today, guys. I was kind of just making fun of Ronald Dupree a little bit there just for fun. Let's see. Let's classic card. Of course, we'll do that right now. All right, guys. Classic card of the day. All right, let's see which card we get. Yesterday, y'all didn't get the card, which was absolutely weird because we never had that happen before. Where you guys didn't get this card. Y'all would have gotten this card yesterday if you were here. Some of you guys who are here today. This card right here. Who can get this card today if you weren't here yesterday? If you were here yesterday, you don't chime in. But if you weren't here yesterday, could you name this card right off the bat right now? Because this is the first time ever this card was not gotten by anybody in the chat yesterday. Nobody could guess him. Nope. Seymour, you don't know who that is? Anybody know who that is? Because we do have more people here in the chat than today. Nope. Kaz is saying nope either. That's Stoko Vrankovic. Stojo Varankovic. Yeah, nobody got him. I would have gotten him because I remember him. If I was on the other side and not the guy who was holding the card, I would have gotten him. All right, here's today's classic card. It's a lot easier. So, yeah, you get this one. Type it in. Full name answer, please. Don't give me no nickname. Don't give me one half of his name. I want the full name. And here he is. It's pretty easy. You can probably see who that is. I have to cover the name up in a weird place. It's like in the middle of the card. But you can see who that is. This is a pretty easy card. This guy's not in the league anymore, I don't think. He's moved on to international play. Yeah, that's not whatever that is. Okay, here we go. Logical's on it. Logical's going to get it. He's just before Slug Deezy and Carlo. And Seymour, yeah, you put Marches in first, but that didn't get it. Montrezl Harrell is the card of the day. It's a weird ticket card. Look at that ticket on there. Season ticket. Montrezl Harrell. There you go. Yeah, Monstar. Yeah, he's a good player. And it's interesting how he's kind of bounced out of the league at this point. Wasn't he on Philly, the last team he was on, I think, in the NBA? And now he's gone. I'm pretty sure he's in Australia. I think he's playing in Australia. So Montrezl Harrell is the answer, and we're going to give it to Logical Raptors Fanatic today. Montrezl Harrell. Oh, I see you have color on the thing all of a sudden. Cool. Montrezl Harrell, Logical Raptors Fanatic is the name on there. And it's an easy one. So you only get 100. Logical Raptors Fanatic. Boom goes the dynamite. You couldn't answer because of slow mode. There's no slow mode anymore. Cash, you can't blame slow mode. I've turned off slow mode. You shouldn't have any kind of countdowns on your answers anymore because I don't click that anymore. There's no timeout anymore. You guys should be able to type. So you can't use that excuse, my guy. There's no slow mode, my guy. Either that or your internet's far enough away. You're in Ottawa, so maybe you got a little bit further to travel. Mike's traveling from downtown Toronto in the internets, and you're from out of Ottawa, so that may have been the slowdown there. All right, let me do the wrap up and let's get out of here. Raptors completed the 2-game sweep in Atlanta in the last 2 days. Fantastic win, rout 117-94. A really, really good job. The Raptors outscoring them after the first quarter. First quarter was bad, but they did better afterwards. My 5 stars of the game are Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Chris Boucher, Jakob Poeltl, and Jacoby Walter. There's a game today at 3 o'clock in Laval. It's the Raptors 905 at the Long Island Nets. The crew chief will be Chelsea Painter. The referee is Claire Aubry, and the umpire is Mari Malo of Montreal. Let's see. What else do we got? There's a problem with Nurkic and Coach Budenholzer. That's interesting. Happy birthday to Vince. Happy birthday to Ronald Dupree, formerly of LSU out of Mississippi, former Raptor. And let's see. I think that's it. Yeah, I got check your fantasy teams if you got a fantasy team in our fantasy league and keep up with that. Hopefully you're doing well in that league and you'll make the playoffs and make some noise. Maybe get Trevor J's fantasy trophy that he's touted and being so cool. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. I'll see some of y'all in the YouTube chat for the 3 o'clock game today. And I'll be back tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. to preview the Raptors with the New Orleans Pelicans coming into Scotiabank Arena to play them tomorrow night. And I'll have the latest lineup news and the ref report then. All right. Thanks for watching me. Let's go, Raptors. Stay positive. You can call it tribalistic, call it whatever you want. Sports in general is tribalistic. I don't know. In some ways, I just like, don't you get tribalistic, Blake, about TSN and Sportsnet? Like, don't the TSN people kind of have their tribe and you have your tribe with Rogers? I mean, seriously, what kind of line is that? Seriously, what is this? They're trying to divide us every which way, whether it's political or whatever like that. In some ways, I don't get tribalistic like that. In some ways, with certain things in life, yeah, I do. Maybe anti-MAGA, but not like in everything. And in some ways, sports is just naturally tribalistic. So I don't get it. I don't get his argument. Anyway, y'all, let's go Raptors. Raptorize your day. And I'll see y'all tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Let's go Raptors. And I hope the coach's open house is going real well for Monique and Blackhawk. And hopefully they'll have some great stories, reports from the coach's open house this morning with the open practice. Let's go Raptors.